What up, Squadron? Apologies for the delays. Your boys had a mare getting home from work. The traffic and I was held. I do apologise to the players and to you guys alike. We do have the Super League ready to go for you boys. And our first... boys and girls, we're all inclusive. We've got Vitalize Black up against Iniquity ESports. Two absolute mammoths, Pabs, for this one. It's going to be a juicy one for us.
Oh, I'm couldn't be happier about with twins, man. This is insane. I mean, aside from the fact that we get to witness the young phenoms and F. Not Smudge again, and then two new players, we get to see, some old favourites in Dave, JMW, and Ben Wilson, and a player that, again, I don't think I'm entirely used to in Zachary. So, mate, this is super exciting, and kicking off the Div 1 as well. And I've got good feelings about this league already, so yeah, I'm proper excited.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, this is our map set. We've got a Bokar straight in at the deep end, Pabs, between these two absolute tanks. We then got Berlin, Gavutu, Berlin, and Desert Siege. So, I mean, we're in at the deep end, but at least we don't have triple Tuscan.
Oh, thank God, man. I love Tuscan, but there's only so much time we can spend in that church. That's just wild. We needed to get to the beach a bit more. We needed to get out in the fields a bit more. Far too much time spent in the villages enjoying ourselves.
Yeah, so looks as though players are ready. I say a huge apologies to all of you guys and to all the players as well. I don't like being late. I hate being late. And the one time really that the players normally haven't got a bit of a delay is the one time that I'm late from work. So big apologies to the guys who have been patiently waiting as we are going to load straight into map number 1. We're not messing around this evening, guys, and we do have two absolute stonkers in the Super League, but this is the one we're going to concentrate for the time being. I suppose one quick talking point, Pabs, Vitalize Black, it's going to be slightly different to what we saw at the end of last season in that they don't have Gabe and Johnny. So this is going to be a big test for them up against a very, very good team of 4 in Iniquity Esports.
Yeah, and you've got to consider, obviously, with Aroma and Johnny W being such a solid foundation, and I mean, well beyond that, it allowed almost F. Dot and Smudge to play their most natural game and kind of, that Roman role that F. Dot does so well. It's going to be interesting to see just how they cope as they're potentially the more experienced too in this lineup, especially at this level. So hopefully they're going to be able to, continue that form. It would be great. Unfortunately, it's going to be Nismo does get traded out. In fact, we got to kill in the end Ben Wilson, dropping Ben Wilson, which is something we didn't think we'd see. But right now, it's looking really, really good so far for the boys from Iniquity Esports as they get 1 second on this crazy first kill. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I literally can't even form the words right now, which is it's a worry when it's your job in particular. But yeah, huge moment. Nice to see Ben back on the sticks, though.
Yeah, man. Yeah, obviously, Mr. Ben Wilson, as he's also known, or damn you thick son, as I like to call him now, from what we saw earlier on Twitter. But really good start, actually, from F. Dot. He's obviously a player that puts up big numbers for Vitalize Black, and it looks as though only going to be a few seconds for the boys of Iniquity off that P1, which, as far as standards are normally concerned, that's not a huge amount of a time, but on P1, you've come to expect it on Bokar, so it's going to be down to the boys in red to try and break their way through over towards the P2 side, and it's a good hold, at least for the early stages here from Vitalize Black. It's whether or not they can hold it here, because Jacko in the back is going to get shots into Ben and takes him down. But you can see number 1 in Dave, also back to his name, Master Shifu. I'm very on board with him having that name back. And yeah, I think this is kind of the main talking point for me, really, between these two teams, is going to be whether or not Vitalize Black can keep up with the slaying. Obviously, we saw how good they were against Luti's lot last season, but with the slight changes to the roster, it's going to be something where they're going to be looking to Nismo and Jacko also to be putting up numbers, because we saw kind of what F. Dot and Smudge had in their locker in that grand final. So this is a good test for the boys of Vitalize Black to see if they are really up there, because when you look at that team of 4 of Iniquity Esports and how they've been kind of as individual players and now as a group, they are going to be probably one of the teams up there, I would anticipate anyways.
And I think the one thing you've got to consider is that obviously when you think about the likes of Gabe and Johnny W, they're both very seasoned, experienced players. I'm sure he's going to love me saying that again. But it's true, though, because, Aroma's, in terms of strategy and in terms of understanding the game's really good. And now they haven't got that. And they're up against someone who we know has got that in the locker in JMW. We're talking about one of the better S&D players. And he's got the gun skill in the locker as well for hardpoint. So this is less about gun skill and more about whether they've got the solid fundamentals in this one of the conversations I had with Lucy, you know, not only a few weeks ago, with that he was surprised just how well FDOT had the mechanics and fundamentals down of the game, and this is going to be his prime opportunity now to try and showcase that. But again, Iniquity ESports are going to be an absolutely solid team to roll over, and you know, you would expect if Smudge could start to fire on all cylinders like we know he can do, this is going to be a tremendous, you know, game. It's going to be tremendously difficult for Iniquity ESports to keep up, and it just could be super interesting to see how it develops. Right now, it's as we expected, it's super tight, which can only bode well for the rest of the series.
Yeah, so a decent hold there from both respective teams. They kind of had a bit of a give and take in that one, but now the rotation over towards the new hill is going to be in the hands of Vitalize Black and Nismo. Nice shots there to take down Jack. He does spot Zach as well inside barn. Surely going to go for the chow, and a nice couple of kills coming through. Is he going to grab the third onto Dave? Yes, he is. Nismo sparks to life here in the barn hill. Really good work from Vitalize Black. They've still got a man on the hill, though, in Ben. Will finally get taken down. So Iniquity, although it looked like for a second they might be able to break through, Nismo just came through with a vengeance, and now him and FDOT combining for 8. So good early signs here for the boys of Vitalize Black. They're definitely trading punches with Iniquity.
Absolutely, it's going to take some big brain moves from JMW to be able to stop these boys right now. Ben Wilson really struggling at the minute, 5 and 13, potentially about to go triple negative with only 21 seconds. It is early doors, and obviously we know some players, you know, take a series or two to warm up. But right now, FDOT is firing on all cylinders, Nismo firing on all cylinders, and you would expect if Smudge and Jacko were able to start to keep up with the pace of the game, this could be, you know, an entirely different blockage than Iniquity Esports expected to come into. But it is the first game that they played in the division, and it's, you know, get themselves settled down and realize what kind of challenge they do have ahead of themselves. But I would suggest these teams are reasonably evenly matched, and right now the scoreline says that 20-second difference, that's almost nothing on Bocage. So yeah, this is already shaping up to be a wild encounter, and we're already seeing, you know, the players that we expected to see do well in FDOT, and obviously in JMW as well, who's 10 and 9 with 27. But you know, you've got to look to your kill leader right there, 19 and 9, young phenom doing everything that we expected of him and a little bit more.
Yeah, Mr. Felix, we've all known big numbers from him at various levels of COD, and now he's showing it right at the very top here up against the boys of Iniquity. So Ben still struggling at the moment just to try and get something going, but he is now on a 3 streak. So if he can kick into gear here, the boys of Iniquity might really start to soak up a huge amount of time. They are going to bring it back to even, and we are going to just see that 1 point difference at the moment. And Dave, they're requesting the POV from Mr. Shifu, and we'll see if he can manage to grab any kills here on that P1. Obviously, a hill that is very back and forth here. Dave just working his way round, does take Nismo, and there you go. There's 2 straight for Dave. Really good work from him. He's a player that when he gets going, he's very, very difficult to stop. His pace is obviously incredibly fast, as we tend to see with SMG players, but we'll see now whether Iniquity can get some more time here on this P1. Jack still soaking up some time, and then his likewise companion on the other side with an additional O in Jacko, able to take him down. But nice work by Jacko. He's actually managed to grab 3 on that P1, so good work from him. But again, Iniquity back on the hill. It's just back and forth between them at the moment. Felix looks as though he might be one of the last men standing, but again, Jack is back on towards the P1. Oh, a nice couple of kills there from JMW. And really good work on the P1 from the boys of Iniquity, but that all-important rotation, Pablo, Vitalize Black, they've grasped onto it with a death grip, and they're still out the back here.
Yeah, and you know, just watching back the kill feeders that runs through, you know, Smudge has just got no real interaction at all. He died once in and around 11 or 12 trades, and then not getting any time. So you feel if he can get himself, squeeze himself into the game somehow, whether that be kills or whether he just tries to soak up a bit of time, I think he's just trying that now. But again, he just needs to get himself involved. You feel that he doesn't have Vitalize Black, could maybe start to run away with this blockage. But right now, Iniquity Esports doing well. They've just managed to challenge.
Oh, Felix.
From the front as well. FDOT just absolutely pooping on people, but yet they did really well. They've battled through the front of P2 and managed to get that, which is, you know, something that you don't often see. You do often see a pinch or something similar, but if they're going to be fought back again, we see this go back and forth, and it just shows you how tight this game. And as we say that, Major, it goes back to even, and the lead changes one more time, and Nismo now on a 3 streak. It's looking very, very good for a solid performance from Vitalize Black so far.
Yeah, the boys of Iniquity at the moment, they just need to keep FDOT quiet here. 30 and 17 at the moment against a stack of 4 players that anyone would look at I mean, if we dropped against these 4 in a league play, I would shit myself. Not really gonna lie. And
I'd back
F
out.
dot at the
I'd
moment,
back out.
he just wouldn't even bother playing, to be honest. But Felix at the
You
moment
know
is
how
putting on.
easy I did.
He's putting on a bit of a showstopper here. There's another couple of kills for him. Going to drop down in towards the hill. Is he going to check the right corner? Dave going to get the receiving end of some bullets as well. So another 3 streak for Felix. And Vitalize punch their way through. They can still see the boys of Iniquity spawning out the back, though. It's just a question of when these guys are going to try and push through. But Ben, again, his struggles still continue at the moment. He's arguably that role, Pablo, which is another talking point, really. He's obviously that main second AR on the boys of Iniquity, and kind of Vitalize Black at the moment. That 3 SMG meta that we tend to see on Bocage does seem to be favouring them just a little bit, especially in terms of kills. Obviously, Smudge, he's having a bit of a rough one on the Automaton. At least I believe that's what he's running. Apologies if I am incorrect, but yeah, Ben at the moment really struggling with the SMG in his hand.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, he's playing an unnatural game, and obviously it's being reflected. But let's be fair to him. He's you know, at the minute, he's joint in terms of time. He's got 53 seconds. So again, you know, he's not a stupid player. When he's not doing well in terms of kills, he is trying to soak up that time, and that's going to keep the game, you know, relatively close. He doesn't need to stay out. He's getting time, and he's able to soak that time up and not let Vitalize Black get a touch on the hill. Then that's all he needs to do. And even if he goes negative and Iniquity win, that's his job. He does that dirty job. No one likes to do it, but someone has to do it, and Ben is doing that job right now. And you expect that from a player with his kind of intelligence and his kind of like experience playing hardpoint. So yeah, good performance so far. You know, from everyone across the board. You know, where they're maybe not slaying out, they are picking up some good time as well. And this is why it's so close. You know, we're talking about maybe a 40-second differential right now in terms of the time acquired.
Yeah, and a quick shout out to Mr. Grim for the resub. Thank you very much, Grim buddy. And Esnov with the follow as well. So, Vitalize Black, little bit of a cushion for now. It's just whether or not Iniquity can try and work their way back into this one. Only trailing by around 20, and there's a big kill coming through as Nismo still manages to work his way around the back. So Zach's going to have to go huge here. There's a lot of players lurking near him. He's still waiting for reinforcement, though, from teammates, and he does spot Smudge. There's one for Zach. Nismo's there for the trade. It's getting a little bit messy on towards this hill, and Ben does a good job to at least mop up one of the players. You can see Jack just frantically looking for the trade and does manage to take Felix down. But you can still see those blue arrows at the moment on Vitalize Black. They are still lurking nearby. And it's just a question of when somebody's going to potentially push onto the hill. Jacko, the patience pays off, takes down one. Dave's there for the trade. Grabs a second as well. Zachary's still up top. Last man standing. Should be able to get a big amount of time here, potentially. But the boys of Vitalize Black, they're still going to try and push him out here. And nice shots from Smudge. There you go. Much better from Smudge. There's one. There's two. Much better from the young man. And he's doing a good job just retaining some of that scrap time for the boys in Vitalize Black. And they're slowly approaching the 200-point mark, Pablo. So this P1 and P2 is going to be really important for Iniquity.
Yeah, I think historically we know that this probably isn't going to get done on P1. They're going to look potentially to try and get as much control of it. I would suggest there's enough in the gun skill of Iniquity that they'll be able to repel this, but it's a great performance so far. Iniquity are going to spawn out from behind, so potentially going to get that surprise. But again, that kill feed looking very, very blue, rather ominously if you are an Iniquity esports fan. And the fight goes down, and obviously with 3 SMGs, this kind of close quarters combat is exactly what they're lined up for. But Iniquity do a fine job in terms of doing that, and they're going to need to soak up as much of that time as possible. Right there, as Dave goes absolutely off, and you talked about it earlier on. Give the man an inch, and he will absolutely destroy your team. And he does that with some aplomb, and that's exactly what Iniquity needed, just to raise that pace, just go through the gears and try and do as best he can. With 20 seconds remaining, it's not going to be one on this third rotation. And Iniquity, you know, they need to get the challenge. They need to concentrate on keeping the rotations.
Yeah, and Zach able to grab a kill there onto Nismo, which he probably really shouldn't have got. And that's an important one as well, as he slowly starts to edge his way closer towards streaks. With 25 seconds also separating these two teams, this next hill is going to be important for Iniquity. They did get a decent amount of time, but Zach, really good work from him. 6 in a row. Looking for the 7th as well onto Jacko, and his teammate is going to help him out. I'm surprised he doesn't have streaks at the moment. Zach, maybe he got it on his 4th kill and potentially invested it. I'm not too sure, but it's not showing up at the moment, and Jacko has still got his streak in his pocket, so now the boys of Iniquity really looking over towards this hill to hold a decent amount of time. There is going to be a glide bomb invested, and you would anticipate it's going to fall right on Zach's head, but he's going to get taken just a little bit weak. He's not going to get dropped, and Smudge on towards the hill, slowly pushing this total up. Nice shots again. Take down Zach, so the kills are going in favor of Vitalize Black, as the last man standing is going to be Mr. Ben Wilson. He has started to get a bit of momentum going, but he's still struggling, and so too is Dave. So I'll tell you what, if Iniquity managed to take this one, it's going to be a New York subliner special here, because they are getting outslain quite heavily. F-Dot is pushing 50, Nismo's over 40, but man, Pablo, with 20 seconds remaining, this is going to be very, very difficult, and the boys of Vitalize Black, they've got the rotation.
Yeah, when you're talking about nearly 90 kills between two players, and we know how important every kill is on Bocage, it's not like a lot of other maps where you can get kind of pointless transitional kills. This is a huge performance from Vitalize Black, and they just look so solid. And again, we talked about, you know, are F-Dot and Smudge going to be able to kind of replicate that performance? It looks very much like they are, and they're in control right now with only 2 seconds remaining. Major, we need to see a challenge come in, and it's not going to happen, unfortunately. And that's going to be round 1 to Vitalize Black in a game that, you know, ultimately, again, Major, we weren't able to predict from the start.
I mean, credit where it's due there. Vitalize Black, in terms of kills, they were shit hot in that one. They didn't really give the boys of Iniquity much respect at all by any means, and they are going to take a map number 1, Pabs, which, in the grander scheme of things, if this series is as close as I anticipate it might be, that's going to be a big map for them, because, wow, to take the map off of this 4 is not an easy job to do, but they've gone ahead and done it, and now they're 1-0 up in the series.
60 non-traded kills between F-Dot and Nismo. 60 non-traded kills. That is the most we've seen. I think that's the most we've cast over between two players. 35 of those non-traded kills going the way of F-Dot, who is an absolute animal. A conversation with him, you know, a few weeks ago, he said he shot literally tens of thousands of bots last year, you know, on a regular basis with headshots only, just to get his centering as perfect as possible so that he was able to drop players quickly. The kid is an absolute animal, and it looks like, mate, they've picked up, you know, the complete package in terms of how they deal with it. Because, you know, we've got to really look at that Iniquity side. They are a solid roster with not just players of high gun skill, but they're clever players who can, you know, have good strategies, understand the game really well, have got a ton of experience playing hardpoint across, you know, many variants of Call of Duty. And you know, they've essentially been dominated quite heavily in the slaying department, you know, across the board in that Bocage.
Yeah, so we are going to jump straight in towards Berlin Search and Destroying. Now, this is a map, Pabs, isn't it, where you look at the likes of JMW and Ben, and you think, right, this is a map where the big brain players start to come into their own. So I would anticipate this Search and Destroy would probably be very crisp from Iniquity. Obviously, you don't want to write the boys of Vitalize Black out, but I'll be very surprised if Vitalize Black put on a bit of a smashing here in map 2, because Berlin is a map that really does pay off for kind of the more cautious AR players. And the boys on Iniquity, they've obviously got that in bundles with the likes of JMW and Ben.
I think, you know, one thing the viewers probably need to realize is JMW might not put up an enormous amount of numbers in this game, but he will be the puppet master. He will be controlling the strings, so he'll be directing players like Dave, who are a little bit more aggressive and just controlling the overall play of Iniquity. So, you know, if you see this team dominate, it's largely going to be because of his ability to strategize. He's going to make meaty words again and go like 12-3 or something, but yeah, this is what we've seen before. So hopefully Iniquity ESports are going to be able to bring this one back, and you can see already JMW favouring that long sight and AR, and Ben Wilson in support. So exactly as you pointed out, Major, this is kind of what we expected to see from the outset.
Yeah, so 2 kills there from the AR duo of Iniquity. It means that F-Dot and Nismo are going to be the last 2 up. F-Dot has managed to work his way in towards the back here, but there's going to be a man right above him, Jack. Is he going to manage to grab the kill? Shots potentially coming through, and F-Dot somehow gets the kill, but you can see Ben, he's on the pinch. Oh, Felix has absolutely beamed him as well, but with 18 seconds left, he's still got to go through the duo of Dave and Zach. Can he manage to do it? Flies around the corner. Dave has absolutely none of it, and a solid round there from Iniquity ESports to get themselves back on the wagon.
Yeah, despite the heroics of F-Dot there, Iniquity ESports solid in their performance, solid in the setup, and executed to perfection. It's what we expect from these players. And you know, with the man at the helm, JMW, you know, you saw straight away first blood with that AR prefers that longer range encounter than the craziness of Bocage. You can understand why these type of players hate that map, and it's a solid performance. But who's there but Dave in the end, just to mop up, you know, Felix, who looked like he was about to perform some kind of lobotomy on Iniquity ESports, but not able to do it.
Yeah, so now into round number 2 we go. Zach is going to be the man just accumulating his position in towards the site. It's not an easy one to stay alive in, though, and you can see Jacko. This is the calm before the storm. Normally, there might be a big first, but actually, oh no, just switched off at the second of the time. There was actually some COD timing, and Zach does a really good job. Stays alive in the bomb site. And that bomb now goes down, and with Dave potentially on a pinch here. F-Dot should be dead to rights here. Get some bullets in the back of him. Surely the call out is that he's going to be weak. He's going to trade a couple of bullets, actually, and does manage to stay alive. Somehow manages to slip his way through, but he will fall to the shots of Jack, and now it's all going to be on Smudge. 1 versus 4. And this is a very tall offer asking of Mr. Smudge here. Can he manage to at least grab 1 kill here? We'll get some shots into Jack, but Zach again stays strong in the bomb site. And Iniquity ESports, Pabs, 2 really clean rounds from those boys.
Yeah, just a little bit too much to ask of Smudge. We know even 1v2 clutches in Berlin can be really, really tricky. There's just so many ways that you can get angles on bomb, get angles across every kind of entrance and egress, and obviously control that bomb site. So a tall order of 1v4. And again, Iniquity Esports just doing a resolute job in controlling this quite wild and aggressive side. But again, maybe S&D just a touch too far in terms of strategy. And again, we did point this out earlier on. Johnny W and Aroma, very experienced players at the highest level in terms of S&D, maybe helping them with strats and control, and definitely something that looks like they need to work on. But obviously, round's not over yet, and Iniquity Esports still got at least 4 to try and get through against these very, very talented, players.
Yeah, Ben, there you go. Another first blood for him. A much better performance here in map number 2 in comparison to the first one. Dave, all the way at the top of 3rd, is going to look to try and grant his teammate a bit more control. Just a question of when Zach is going to try and get this bomb down. They've got to be careful, though, because Felix is working on a flank, and Smudge takes Jack down with the nade. So this has now become a bit of a round here where potentially, if they're not careful here, F-Dot might be able to be the thorn in the side of them. He manages to grab yet another kill as he drops Dave, and Zach's still lurking inside the site with the bomb. Looks as though they're going to be waiting on Ben to make the play. Nice shots from Ben, though, to take down Nismo. So now 2 versus 2. They know he's on the pinch, but with 30 seconds left. Oh, and he's just going to tickle Smudge up. Not quite enough to get the kill. But still a 2 versus 2. Zach is being really patient with this bomb. It will finally go down. And it's going to be looking as though it's going to be down to Iniquity Esports to try and hold the boys off.
Yeah, absolutely. And up against the 2 young phenoms, F-Dot and Smudge, who've got 4 kills between them and 4 deaths between them. And Zachary and Ben, I would suggest they've got enough in terms of the locker to be able to defend this with only 30 seconds remaining. It's going to take quite the breach and quite the accuracy to do this. Right now, you're going to see them infiltrating. F-Dot disgustingly gets that, does get taken down by Ben Wilson. Now it's going to be a 1v1 with F-Dot diffusing. He's going to jump out. He's not going to see him. Is he going to get the fix? Oh my days, he's bodied him like that. How has he managed to kill him like that? F-Dot, not only with the clutch, but he's going to get the defuse with 8 seconds remaining. A major, what a performance from young Felix there.
Yeah, and a big round there as well for the boys of Vitalize Black. That was potentially one that it looked as though Ben had played that to perfection. Ben just manages, unfortunately, to miss a few shots, and Felix makes him pay, and that's something that we've come to see now with F-Dot. If you miss a few bullets on him, you know he's not going to miss, and now currently 5 and 2 at the moment, putting the boys of Vitalize Black just in the backpack at the moment here, and a really important round, that one, Pabs, because if Iniquity go 3-0 up, that hill becomes incredibly more steep.
Yeah, absolutely. You start to feel that JMW is going to get that control and dominance that he wants to get on the map. Right now, you'd suggest, though, Major, Nismo and Jacko desperately need to get involved in this game. 0-3 each, heavily on the struggle bus. I would suggest Nismo's got the keys and he's driving Jacko around Berlin right now, and they need to get off and get into the game. It is going to be Zachary who gets first blooded, so Smudge having you would suggest a better start to the S&D than he did to the hard point. But yeah, Vitalize Black, you don't want to let them get back in because, despite maybe inexperience and a little bit of naivety in the S&D round, they can still shoot really, really straight, as proven by F-Dot in the previous round.
Yeah, and they do manage to spot the rotation out. Ben is going to manage to grab a kill, but Smudge takes down Jack, sorry. Apologies, got the old word jumble mixed up. But Smudge, another couple of kills there. Really good work from Smudge, and now they've got control of the site. Dave's going to be next up. Oh, and Dave does a really good job to at least grab one. He's got to be careful, though, because the shots are going to come through from the side, and Vitalize Black, just like that, Pabs, tie it back up 2 rounds apiece.
And the extra commentary there from Ronaldo, just as Vitalize Black tied the game up. But great play there, and it's F-Dot again with the final kill. You really do need to, you absolutely understand where he is on the map, because he can absolutely bully you from any angle, and it's 2-all and not a position we expected to be in. And this is entirely on the back of F-Dot and Smudge, as Nismo and Jacko continue to be on the struggle bus. And Iniquity Esports, you would suggest, still got enough in the locker to be able to take this, but they really, really do need a round right right now, or you feel this is going to run away from them. JMW 2 and 4 still pulling the strings. But we'll see how this goes. And Smudge again with first blood, and it's not looking good for the boys in red.
And first blood is going to go in favor of Vitalize. The second kill will as well. Dave is going to manage to grab a kill there, but Smudge again, another pick from him now leaves Zach. Last man up. Can he manage to make the play here, Zach? Really good kill there. To at least open up the site for the time being. But you can see the two remaining players in Smudge and Nismo still waiting for him. And Intel with the follow. Thank you very much, buddy. And yeah, guys, I will redeem the C's, but I will not do them every single round because I know you guys are absolutely abusing. This is why I put the price up for the other one to 5,000 because I didn't anticipate how many channel points you guys actually have. But don't worry, I will do them all, but we won't do them in every single game. And nice try, Tom. That one's not going to work, but it's going to be now Zach 1 versus 2 still. He hasn't come across either of the players at the moment. Smudge and Nismo just playing this really passively. It's just going to be a question of when they potentially spot him. Oh, and there they spot him as well. Through the window, shots come through. Smudge weakens him up, and they do grab another kill. So 3 rounds in a row for Vitalize Black Pabs. They are really adapting to what Iniquity are trying to work here in the search, and now they've taken 3 in a row, and now they take the lead themselves.
Yeah, adaptation is the word right there. It almost feels like they've got the playbook of Iniquity Esports. They've read it, they've assimilated it, and now they are regurgitating in high fashion right now. Nismo and Jacko, rather ominously, if you're an Iniquity fan, getting on the board 1 and 4 each and contributing to the round, and they've taken the lead, and it's been a hell of a performance so far. And you would suggest, man, going, if they're able to continue this and take this round, that control is going to be hella uncomfortable for Iniquity Esports. But for JMW doing what he does best, and this could be an important round, able to get the first blood, but they really do need to deal with the duo of F. and Smudge as soon as possible. Smudge is going to fall, though. F. left with Nismo and Jacko and Bomb still knocked down, Major.
Yeah, Jacko. And he managed to get some good timing here, because if he manages to push through, you can see Zach, though, just watching the bottom side. Surely he's going to get some info. Oh, that's timing and a half. The second he was going to go and help out, and JMW and Dave do manage to grab kills, so now it's all on Nismo, as Jacko is going to fall. 1 versus 3 is required here, so a much better round from the boys of Iniquity. But can he get potentially a couple of picks there? You can see Jack is just watching down this lane. Surely going to spot him. The info comes through, and surely there's going to be a pinch. He's got red arrows all over the place. Nismo will fall. So a good regain round there from Iniquity Esports, and a much needed one to tie it back up, Pabs. These guys they're trading blows time after time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about the importance of the first blood in this Berlin, not necessarily in some of the smaller maps, but in Berlin in particular, it just affords you such a geographical advantage. You then get to own so much of the map that it becomes difficult to get bomb site control. And then the team are literally having to get 2 picks in order to get bomb down, and that's going to take time. And again, Iniquity Esports just doing a great job of bringing this back and going toe-to-toe again after, quite disappointing rounds. And Nismo and Jacko starting to look kind of like they're over passive to an extent, and this is what's potentially holding Vitalize Black back. And with everyone in Iniquity Esports firing on all cylinders, they can only be good for the team in red. Big first blood, coming up, and you would hope if the boys from Iniquity Esports want to tie the series up, they're going to be able to get it themselves.
Yeah, and you can see Vitalize Black. It looks as though they've read the bomb plant down here, but the next ask is for them to try and get a pick here. The automatons really important on Berlin's search, and we'll see if they can manage to grab that all-important first blood here. Vitalize Black. 30 seconds left on the clock here, so a big chunk of it has already gone. They're going to have to be quick. It looks as though they're going to try and nade Zach out of that bomb site, and he's still alive. He's still lurking, so surely now it's going to be the calm before the storm. Shots come through. Zach will fall. Dave will manage to grab a kill onto Jacko as well here, and with 19 seconds left, the boys in blue, they have to be quick here, and nice shots again from Jack to take down another player in Nismo. Number 6 in F. Oh, we saw the glimpse. We saw the glimmer. He's going to try and go for the defuse here. He's getting tagged up through the wall here. He's got to be careful, though. JMW is going to go for the push, and they take him off the bomb. Iniquity replying with 2 rounds of their own. Retake the lead. And this is not going to be easy to call, Pabs, the way these two are going. It is just blow for blow at the moment.
No, man. I mean, I'm confident that Iniquity Esports can do this. I mean, despite the gun skill of Vitalize, they have relied quite heavily on getting 1 or 2 picks at the very start through raw aggression. But I think we're just starting to see JMW pull the strings a little bit more. He's not going to get diffused like that. He will always be, within reach of the bomb. I don't think he'll ever get done like that. Both of them on 4 streaks, so big kills about to come up from Dave and from JMW. Master Shifu, for anyone who's like, why is he saying Dave? But for anyone who isn't aware, that is Master Shifu. Both about to get potentially streaks, so big kills. You would suspect it's going to be an important glide as well, because the boys from Vitalize back still super capable of taking this back. You see what I did there?
You could say, "Be careful." Yeah, I see what you did there. That was smooth. That was smooth. So bomb is gonna go down over towards that B site, and now how can Iniquity try and regain? You can see Dave and JMW both on 4 streaks here, so they have got some really big engagements coming up. But Smudge holds strong at the top of 3rd. He manages to win the gunfight. Dave still hunting for what could be a kill for streaks here. Gonna jump up, spot Smudge, and wins the gunfight. So Glide Bomb is in the pocket, but now they need to go quickly here. The duo, Dave and Jack, need to hit this really quickly. 20 seconds left on the clock, and you can see the positioning of Vitalize Black. Pretty textbook. One man out the back, and that man is going to be F-Dot. He's going to leather Dave with shots. He's not going to grab the kill, though, and I think they're just going to let this one go, Pabs. I think they're just going to play for streaks with both of them on streaks, and Jack is going to get the 5th. I think he might have just got his Glide Bomb. We'll have to wait and see, but Vitalize Black with an important round, and it ties it all back up once again.
This is insane. But yeah, it does look like Master Shifu and JMW have managed to amass 2 streaks between them, which are going to come really, really important, and particularly in a defensive round. So I would guess this is going to be a big opportunity for them to take that round and go into the lead 5-4 if they're able to do it. They are on the attack now, so maybe about to get some bomb site control. Maybe sensible for them to push over to B and maybe just try and use 1 glide now and 1 glide in the next round, just to see this game out and get themselves, you know, matched back up. And it'd be interesting to see how JMW, or I mean, if he's using it, has that kind of control, decides to use this glide, and how they're going to use it to try and control the boys from Vitalize Black, who right now everyone's just started to have a much better game. Smudge still very speculative shots with the AR over towards JMW. One must be very aware of his counterpart's quality in terms of accuracy. Right now, big first blood goes down for JMW. Super important. Jacko able to play his life out, but he does get taken down by Ben Wilson, and this is looking very, very tidy without any use of glides for Iniquity ESports, Major.
Yeah, Ben did a really good job there of staying alive. I thought he was dead to rights, and it looked as though Jacko was potentially going to even grab 2 kills there as he leathered both players up with bullets, but Elas walks away. Well, doesn't walk away, he died, but he unfortunately doesn't manage to get either of them. So now F-Dot and Nismo, 2 versus 4. This is a big ask of these lads here, and Nismo's going to fall. So now Felix, we know what he's got in the locker, but he's going to have to use every ounce of it now to work something here. 1 versus 4, and a bomb defuse is needed. Pretty much everything you don't want to see if you're a Vitalized Black fan, and this is a really pivotal round. But nice shots onto Jack. Instantly takes him out of that position. Really good reads from Felix. But now 1 versus 3 still required. Oh my god, he's taken down 2. Oh my god, okay, never mind. He didn't get it, but my goodness, that was close.
Man, that kid has got a 6th sense like no other. He's so paranoid. He's checking every corner. He gets the kills. Unfortunately, not able to get the kill in the end. It would have been an amazing clutch if he was, but another great play. And you've really got to doff your cap to JMW. He stays far out back despite that push to A to get the information and, if possible, get a shot, which he does on Nismo. And that ultimately forced F-Dot into that rather difficult position of a 1v3, which even for his talents is probably a step too far on Berlin.
So now, 1 round is all that Iniquity need to tie up this series, and it looks as though boys in red, they're not going to have the numbers over towards the B site, but can Zach potentially make the play here? Glide Bomb is going to come through. JMW's investing it. Jacko might be dead to rights here, and they invest a double one there, so the flak jacket isn't going to be enough as they invest 2 at once. I don't think we've ever seen that before, and that is a really good bit of play there from Iniquity. Just duoing up a Glide Bomb. How often do you get to see that one? And now Zachary in towards the side, and he gets the kill onto F-Dot as well, so it's all falling apart a little bit here for Vitalize Black. This next kill could be make or break, and Ben is going to be able to grab it, so now it's all on Nismo. He's been tagged up. He's going to grab 1, but Zach is there for the kill, and Iniquity Esports, they are going to take map number 2, Pablo, and tie it up. We've got a series.
And mate, finally this week, we actually sound like we know what we're talking about. As JMW, you know, we said he's a really good S&D strategist. He's going to have, like, you know, despite the maybe slight offset in gun skill compared to the other team, he's going to have the strats. And indeed, he's got the angles, he's got the headies, he's got the sense. A very cautious play. He will wait out the back while his team pushes forward just to get information, and a really, really nice performance out of him and the rest of his team. And you know, you've just got to look to the likes of Dave. Master Shifu had a really good performance as well, both getting glides, and as you say, big brain plays to send both of those glides straight onto the bonnet of the opposition. So huge performance there to bring it back to 1-1, and this is what we expected, a super tight game. But we go into our first Gavutu control, and a map renowned for its imbalance is even more imbalanced in control. So this is going to be really interesting. I'd be interesting to know who chose this map as well, because this is notoriously a difficult control to deal with, and it's why we've seen triple Tuscan maybe so much as well.
Yeah, so the boys now of Iniquity, they are going to have the momentum, and as promised, guys, GBM and Blue Claret with the follows. Thank you very much, guys. So yeah, as promised, we're going to have to spam it a little bit, Pabs, because we had a lot that were redeemed. So apologies for that, guys. I can't obviously spam every single map with endless amounts of Cs, but we are now loading into map number 3, Gavutu Control. And obviously, again, Pablo, we talk about kind of the AR presence on the map, and obviously Jack and Ben were a lot more open to contributing, I would say, really, in that second map. They really put a stamp on that one in the search. And Gavutu, obviously a map as well that we tend to see those top AR players do really come through. So the boys of Vitalize Black, they're going to have to keep those two quiet again in this one, which isn't going to be as easy as we saw in prior in that Bocage.
Yeah, I think you've got to look for the battle for the boat now, as we look to, obviously, to JMW and Ben to really start to have a battle with Smudge now. And this is going to come down to that mid-control and who can get the picks and who can own the most geography. Obviously, I think this is it's definitely my first cast of Gavutu Control, so it'll be interesting to see how it does actually end up working out. But obviously, this has been a crazy game so far. And Dave on the flank, and this is how we like to see him playing that free roll where he can just go around and cause absolute havoc. And Vitalize Black don't get to deal with him. He can become a problem on the map.
Yeah, so good work from Dave. It's going to drop 2. And Iniquity looking to try and get down that stick at A. They will manage to do it, but they've opened an opportunity for FDOT to get on this B point, and this is going to be really difficult to shift. We see it in hardpoint when players have this man just tucked up into boat, and now it's going to be down to the break from Iniquity to try and take FDOT out of this position. And there's a good couple of kills, though. Zach and Ben are going to manage to grab a couple. And you can see the madness that's ensuing now as the trades potentially going back and forth. And they do manage to clear those players off the point. So really good work there from the boys of Iniquity. But now, again, Pablo, this is where the tug of war starts to begin on control. When you protect B, you got to then head over to A. And that's exactly what the boys of Iniquity are going to look to try and do once again here.
Yeah, and this is obviously a much more difficult one to control and much more difficult one to try and get the kills on. We expect this to be more of a huge battle over towards mid. They have got ticks down towards that potentially more difficult B site, so that could be playing on the minds of Iniquity ESports, but they really need to do this. There's only 50 seconds left, so they're going to need to get the drains on one as soon as possible. And right now, it doesn't look like anyone's heading over. As I say, that Smudge looks like he's potentially just about to make that mooch over, but he's going to get into a huge fight with Dave over towards that back beach area, so you can see just that little bit of protection. And Vitalize Black just looking like the lesser experienced team right now, as we see that push Zachary top boat, and we did say this would potentially come down to that battle for top boat, but right now Vitalize Black with only 26 seconds, you would suggest Iniquity ESports have done a fine job so far of defense.
Yeah, and Jack with some really crisp shots there to take down Jacko. The nade isn't going to quite tag up Smudge, but his teammate in Mr. Ben Wilson will manage to do it with bullets anyway. So, Vitalize Black, 15 seconds left on the clock. They need to try and get somebody on the point to at least stop the timer. And that 8-point progression is coming through, but again, Jack just locking down his required lane, able to grab a kill. Felix going to look to try and be the game changer. No, but again, Jack is just the immovable object at the moment. It mid-map, and with 3 seconds left, I don't even know if they're going to be able to touch this one. Jacko and Nismo flying through straight into the blender, and Iniquity ESports with the first round, albeit on the defensive side, Pablo, but a good round nonetheless from those players.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we've talked about the lack of balance in this, and defensive teams, obviously, with a slight advantage. It's obviously easier to get over to that middle A point and to get those shots in. But this is why you need, big players and big performances over towards that top boat, so that they can get that control and get the sight over almost half the geography of the map. Again, you just felt there just wasn't enough committed towards B, so they got 2 ticks down, but just weren't able to see it out. And again, this comes down to experience. Some of the positioning looked a bit rough. Obviously, you're going to get a player in true carrier, but they had players beside the true carrier who just was so exposed he got taken out. And Iniquity ESports, mate, I would suggest looking at really, really good for the money so far.
Yeah, Jack there lands a nade right in the face of Nismo and manages to get the shots off to Jacko as well. So another double there from the Welshman now puts him on 6 in a row here. Really coming into his own now is Jack on this map. We'll see if he can manage to crack open a couple more kills here. Smudge, I think he spotted him, just shoulder that ever so slightly. And, oh, he is going to fall, but he's not going to fall without not grabbing streaks. So he's going to be fully streaked out, Jack. And now it's just going to be a question of when he's going to potentially use these. Whether they're going to use it to try and open out that B side. Because this A progression is really coming through quickly. They've got to be careful, though. Felix over the top shots in. But Dave manages to protect his mate in Zach and Nismo. Good shots to take down Dave. But that A progression looks pretty much inevitable now with the players over towards that point. And the life count as well, Pablo. This is now the bit where they've got to be careful. Because Jack's already in that B point. But they can't afford to keep throwing too many lives at it.
Yeah, they're going to need to get a wipe and make use maybe of the air ordnance that Jack's got in his back pocket. He's 7-5 right now, having an absolutely storming game. But again, it's so difficult to win on the attacking side. We can see the trades going back and forth. So they need to get some control over towards this kind of front dock side in order to maintain control of B. And they're going to keep approaching from beach. And I think this is going to be a problem for them as we see that life count maintained at 6 advantage for Iniquity Esports. But yeah, Iniquity still looking very strong. But again, they could potentially turn this into a TDM with 1 minute 45 to go. Might be the most sensible option for them in the end. But again, you know, you've just got to, you know, Ben Wilson right now, he's 13-6, having an absolutely storming game so far. So huge performance out of him, and we could be seeing this go to a 2-0 in this round, and Vitalize back starting to look, you know, almost average, you would suggest.
Yeah, and boys of Iniquity, this is what you come to expect from these boys as a 4, and it's a much better performance here. You can see Zach double positive, Gifu and Mr. Dave positive. They're all doing their bit at the moment. So Vitalize Black, they're going to have to look to something here because they are down on lives by now. Make it 9 as Dave manages to grab another couple of kills there, and he's just being a pain, just roaming around the map, playing the role that he's so very efficient at. And now it's going to be a case of 7 lives remaining. They've got to push the point. The progression's coming through. This is looking really bleak here as Dave is now on another set of streaks as he looks to try and grab a couple more kills. 5 in a row for Dave, looking for that all-important 6th, and there it is. Manages to grab Nismo for free. The the B progression still coming through, and it now looks as though we're down to 2 lives. It's inevitable, and a good round again, Pablo, from Iniquity. They look very, very solid on control.
Yeah, and we talked about them needing to get that dot control, and we saw Dave go in, he wipes 2 players out. He did drop eventually, but he makes his way back over. They get that kind of cross fire kind of from airgun and from dockside, and it just absolutely wipes Vitalize out, and that allows them to get a tick and a half in the troop carrier. So great performance, but really clever play, and that's one thing Vitalize don't seem to have in the locker right now is good strategic play. Granted, they've got guys with great gun skill, but right now, you know, when you've got players in power position, strong headies who can also shoot straight, you're going to get beat, and that's why they're 2-0 down in this control. It wouldn't surprise me if this ends up being a 3-0. But again, we do, you know, there's still so much in the locker from the boys of ESports that anything is on the cards, and we know just what kind of resilience, and you know, we know their talent as well. So this could go either way, but Iniquity Major looking really solid right now.
Yeah, and Ben is obviously a really big factor in this. We saw the game that he had in map 1. He really struggled, but he's really come into his own here on the Gavutu. Saying that, though, Vitalize Black, they are now on the A point. They're stacking it, and I think the boys of Iniquity are going to just resign to the fact they can't do anything about this. But Jacko on the flank, he spots 1. He spots the 2nd in Dave as well. Really good 2 kills coming through from Jacko, and they get that progression done. Oh, and another one there onto Zach. He's just roaming around, absolutely frying at the moment is Jacko. He's had a really difficult start, but he's now starting to come through a little bit. And Vitalize Black, they're on the point, and this is turning out to be one hell of an opening round here in round number 3.
Absolutely, mate. We talked about it before. They did the one thing they hadn't done previously. Obviously, they've been on the defense, you know, in the first round, and they did the one thing they didn't do on their attacking rounds, which is they didn't get the pinch between the 2 portions, either from air rail, from the air gun, and from the front docks area. So, you know, they were never likely to happen, but they've done really, really well so far. They have got the life advantage, and it's a massive life advantage, as it looks like Nismo and Jacko have decided to turn up left, having a quiet map, and we can see Nismo and Jacko teaming up there to drop even more players, and with only, you know, a tick and a half over, they just need to replicate exactly what Iniquity Esports did before, and this could be a massive game. And we can see the gun's gonna, you know, number 2 there, F-Dot should get that kill over towards Ben Wilson, and he does indeed, and this is exactly the same setup, maybe without that dockside control that we saw earlier on. They still need 1 tick, 1 minute 40, you would suggest. Plenty of time to do it, mate.
Yeah, and plenty of lives as well. And a quick shout out to Shell, Skyro, and Lendog for the follows. Thank you very much, guys, for all the new and returning viewers. And now Looking a little bit more bleak here in this third round for Iniquity. They're down to 10 lives, but they do manage to steady the ship just a little bit. Zach looking for some shots into Smudge. He's going to tag him up. Won't manage to get the kill. But there's a free one for Dave. Nice shots into Nismo. And again, another 4-man wipe there comes through for Iniquity. So the boys in Vitalize Black, they've got to be careful now because they're gifting away a lot of lives. And Ben is going to manage to grab yet another one. So they're really starting to pin them back. Another one for Dave could potentially add more to the injury here. Potentially, they were combined for 8 before he got taken down. But now, can Zach make the play? No, this is where they've got to be careful here, Iniquity, not to overcommit too much. Ben, another kill comes through for him. His 20th now in the control. As mentioned, a much better map from him, but now they've got to be careful of lives. Iniquity, they're down to 6. JMW is on the point, but Zach's going to fall as well, and it looks as though they have hit the regain a little bit here. Vitalize Black pushing them down to 5. That life count difference pushed back out again as it currently stands at 7. Now Dave's on the flank. There's going to be a couple here. He knows where one is. He knows where the other is. Zach's going to help him out with the other. No regards. So 10 now plays 5. And with 29 seconds on the clock, I'm not really sure how many more pushes the boys of Vitalize Black have on this. If they're going to go, Pabs, they need to go now.
Yeah, F-Dot just got an absolutely dirty kill over to Master Shifu, and you know, the guy was on an absolute tear. He come to the front of docks, totally decimating Vitalize Black, and he was about to do the same to F-Dot, which would have absolutely wiped out Vitalize Black, but not able to do it. But Ben Wilson, not with the 1, not with the 2, but with the 3,
oh my days,
24 and 15 with 6 seconds. You've got to say that's an MVP performance right there, and it ends with the streak. What an absolute performance right there from Ben Wilson to see out that round. And Iniquity, man, they have just dominated Vitalize there with a 3-0 in Gavutu control.
Yeah, that is a performance that you would expect from this roster. That looked pretty damn faultless, even though they were down on lives. The map control and the composure that they showed in the later stages of that one especially really came through. And you can see as well the likes of Ben putting up big numbers. That is more like it from him. And when they come together as a 4, that's what you get from this roster. A really solid control. And Vitalize Black, they didn't really have a sniff at that one.
Yeah, absolutely. You just got to look at the stats from Ben Wilson. Outside of the non-traded kills, his kills on the objective, on the hill, and the actual zone, you know, the highest in the entire team from both teams with an average of about 6.25. You know, he's absolutely dominating. He's either keeping you away from being able to boost him off the hill, or he's absolutely defending that zone, so he's, you know, he's able to get those ticks over. So a superb and solid performance from Ben Wilson. But you know, overall the Iniquity Esports boys just looked really strong strategically. They were in the right places. They knew where they needed to be to defend and to attack. Looks like they've got Gavutu control, you know, really well sorted against a very talented Vitalize Black side. And you've got to, you know, going into Berlin Hardpoint with those ARs on fire right now, you would suggest, you know, they have got the measure of Vitalize Black.
Yeah, and I have one of those as well, because I know there's another one in there from Tobe. So really good work there from Iniquity now, Pabs. And now we're going over to a map in Berlin Hardpoint, where again, this is where you would expect Iniquity Esports arguably to be much better. This is another map that we see. It pays off to rotate efficiently. It pays to have assault rifle players playing very, very consistently. And obviously with Jack and Ben now looking as though they've come to life in the game. No shout out as well. No disrespect, sorry, to Zach and Dave. They were doing their bits in map number 1. It just felt like the kind of, with Ben on the SMG and Jack kind of struggling a little bit on the assault rifle, now they've kind of come into their own element with Dave and Zach doing what they normally do, having the addition of Jack and Ben on top of that. Now they look as though they're looking very solid, especially going into a map now where you'd expect those assault rifle players again to be very controlling and in those power positions that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. We spoke about, you know, how slow Ben Wilson was at the start of that Bocage Hardpoint, which is a frantic map anyway,
yeah,
and doesn't really lend itself to his natural ability. Well, we're about to go onto a map that entirely does lend itself to his preferred role, preferred distances, and obviously strategies as well. So right now, you know, if you were a betting man, you would have to say that the shoe is definitely on Iniquity Esports' feet, because they have got the better brains right now. They've definitely got, you know, in terms of an ideal situation, it's more Cold War-esque type of map, which you would suggest suits JMW style a little bit more. And right now, Vitalize Black are going to have to do a lot, and it's not just going to come down to gun skill. They're going to have to rotate effectively. They're going to have to commit effectively. They're not going to be able to rely so much on F-Dot in terms of getting 2 and 3 pieces, because that's probably not going to happen as much. But don't forget, in the first hard point, they dropped nearly 90 kills between just F-Dot and Smudge. And now that Nismo and Jacko seem to be, you know, firing again on all cylinders, they did have a good control round in terms of kills. This could be anyone's to take. But Major, we're going to have to see how it unfolds. This is going to be a wild one.
Yeah, this is going to be a madness here. Obviously, for us neutrals, if the boys of Vitalize Black could do us solid and push it to Game 5, I probably wouldn't complain as we get another map out of these quality players. But now already, really good start here from the boys in red. Early control on this P1 is going to grant them quite a big chunk of time right off the rip. But Felix, the man who had such a good map, number 1, they're going to be looking to him again to have another solid map. He is going to spot Dave, flies around the corner. Nice shot by Felix to take down one. And oh my god, he somehow manages to get Ben as well. It took quite a few of them to take him down. And that is potentially, in what could be a close map here, Pablo, a big kill, because that has granted them arguably 20 seconds worth of time and forced Iniquity to rotate early over towards that next hill.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we know that P1, as most P1s are, can be really contested, but a great break and a great job as well. But yeah, good 20 seconds from both teams. And we expected to see this. I think this is going to be a reasonably close map. If Vitalize Black can maintain toe-to-toe in terms of strategy, we know they're going to go toe-to-toe in terms of kills. But right now, you see in players like Dave started to warm up. And sometimes we forget just how good he is on the roam. He can be an absolute nightmare. He's a guy who consistently gets streaks. He doesn't really get that role to play any real objective time, and he can be a thorn in the side. And you know, when it comes to a map like Berlin, he tends to get a lot of important kills. So definitely a player to watch out for in this. But right now, the kill feed again looking quite deliriously blue, as F-Dot does look like he's starting to feel himself. 9 and 3 and already on a streak, Major. Crazy plays from young Felix once more.
Yeah, I was going to say, Smudge, Nismo and Jacko were all on the kill each, and I think Felix was on 7 at that point, so we can see the work that Felix is very, very good at doing in grabbing kills. And it's an area of his game as well that I think he's really improved on. He's obviously getting relevant kills as well. He's getting a lot of hill time. He's not just going out and kill whoring. He is getting important kills on rotations and holding decent amount of hill time in some of these hard points. Now he's looking for another one. He knows that Dave's in here. Nice shots again from Felix to manage to put himself out to 10 kills already, while the second closest to him is going to be Dave at 6. So Felix already strong starts. Oh, and he almost manages to get Dave out of that back position, but it looks as though Iniquity ESports, they have the rotation at least for the time being. Looks as though Dave might try to work a pinch here, because the man in F-Dot is going to get spotted and dropped. Nice shots from Dave to tag up Jacko. Looks as though he's going to go hunting for it, and he will. Oh no! Oh, never mind. Jacko's come to play now. He manages to absolutely fry him in an engagement that he probably shouldn't win. But Iniquity ESports, regardless, Pablo, they've made a lot of this rotation and they've held a lot of time.
Yeah, it's been a really good, solid hold from Iniquity. And again, you know, JMW pulling the strings with his experience. Ben Wilson is also going off as well. 8 and 5. He's on a 4 streak, which suggests one more kill. He's going to get that glide, so it's going to be a glide each going into this crazy open hill where we might see quite a large proportion of that air ordnance come into play. Jacko and F-Dot going to tie up. Ben Wilson still on the 4, so still a good opportunity for him to get it. I think he's going to potentially look to maybe get a trade, because I think it's going to be valuable for them to get Vitalize Black off the hill. But this is going to be a big question. Right now, the game is still, you know, incredibly close. You bear in mind just how big this map is. And at 20 points, you would suggest maybe 15 points difference. The game is still wide open, regardless of the heroics of F-Dot, regardless of the heroics of Ben Wilson. This game is still incredibly close. Yeah,
and Nismo, that was a really big kill onto Ben as well. So after all that patience that Ben showed, he didn't get streaks, and nice work from Smudge up in the top of 3rd, trying to get some form of control. And this has been a really, really good hold on this hill from Vitalize Black. They've literally flipped the game back on its head again. Nismo keeping his head down, and F-Dot will manage to help keep him alive. Dave going to push through, though, and manages to take him down in the early stages of the next rotation. And will he get the second onto Felix? No. Felix manages to win that next engagement, and we go over towards a hill, which we know can be messy, but Jacko still trying to work a bit of an angle around the back potentially, and there's a couple of players ready and waiting for him. There's one in Dave, so good work from Jacko to get the first. There's still Jack on the other side. Oh, and I don't know if he saw him or not. I don't think he did, or if he did, he's just going for it because he's not going to have an engagement with him, and trying to work his way up towards the top here. And the man ready and wait is going to be Zach, and really good routes and work there from Jacko. He took the more clean route round the back, but it might pay off for him here as his teammates are going to try and clear out those remaining players, but Mr. Ben Wilson has absolutely none of it, and another 4 streak for him.
Yeah, and it just goes to show just how difficult this mid one is to hold. You know, you get this kind of heroic performance straight out to Jacko. He makes his way all the way around. Zachary in the same process, and nothing comes of it. You know, when Iniquity ESports still got the hold and they've managed to push Vitalize off. So
Benjamin.
it's a crazy hill, and it just goes to show, really, this is just about getting those spawns for the second rotation, maintaining them and being set up so that you can get the largest possible chunk of time over towards this P1. It's going to be Iniquity setup in this game that it's only got 4 seconds difference, and Iniquity is back on that P1. You would expect, again, they've got a nice solid setup. They're winning the gunfights in fire. It does look like Ben Wilson dropped Jacko, and the guys from Vitalize going to have to push from the front, which is definitely not the favourable position. And number 7 there, just keep your eyes on Ben Wilson, 17 and 8. He's coming in behind them, absolutely decimates them with laser beam accuracy and just dominating, already looking to try and get a spawn trap, and he's just going to destroy the whole team, and that is going to give Iniquity a solid 30 seconds off that hill at the very least.
Yeah, and I'm glad we managed to catch that play from Ben, because it felt like every time we switched him, he was on a streak and he died. So really good work there from Ben to grab 3 important kills. And Iniquity, they've done what they've needed to in terms of spawns. I assume Jack is going to be the man to head over towards the new hill, and he will be. So it's just going to be down to the boys of Iniquity to try and just hold on potentially. Looks as though they've given up the scrap time. Ben, got to be careful though. Bit of an itchy trigger finger in that situation as he tries to dip out. There's a few players hunting for him. You can see the blue arrows frantically searching for him. But a big gunfight on the hill, which Felix is actually able to win. So although Jack's out the back, they are in the hill. And I'll tell you what, Vitalize Black in a good position to hold a decent amount of time now, as Jack is going to try and work his way inside. There's going to be a few players. Felix is going to be one of them, but Felix doesn't miss a bullet yet again. 18 and 15 now for him. The most engagements in the lobby once again for the young lad, and it's going to be down to Iniquity to try and break their way through, Pabs. But at the moment, the boys of Vitalize Black, they are not giving them a single second of it.
And you've got to be concerned, are the boys from Iniquity Esports going to be able to maintain the kind of pace that Vitalize Black can obviously do? You know, you would suggest this isn't kind of the pace that JMW wants to be playing at. He doesn't want to be playing at 1,000 miles an hour. He wants that control. He wants to be able to organise and hold kills. And right now, Vitalize Black doing the one thing that they are very good at, which is get aggressive in the hill, get aggressive outside the hill, and get in the face of the opposition. And they are doing it right now. And FDOT just slowly but surely, he's about to, you know, creeping up to being the kill leader in the game. If you look at that first package, we know it's a kill heavy map, but he's 19 and 17. He's about to catch up to Ben Wilson. He hasn't had a great, you know, game in terms of deaths, but right now it's looking very ominous. But Iniquity able to flip it and make it this game. You know, we said it'd be close, but this has been wild. The league going back and forth.
Yeah, the controlled aggression there from Iniquity just to push out the spawns. They work out the back. I believe it was FDOT that was the last man up. They took him out the hill, and now the spawns is all in their favour. More kills coming through. It's getting a little bit messy inside the hill. You can see FDOT still alive outside of it, but Zachary just soaking up the time. He's able to win the first engagement. Ben's going to grab one as well. And again, another 4-man wipe there for Iniquity as they really start to stamp their authority on this Berlin. And this lead is getting bigger and bigger by the second. The rotation Vitalize Black now is going to be key. But again, look at the perfection that Iniquity have played this rotation to. Nismo is going to try and work his way over there, but you can see the setup they've got. They've got Jack out the back. They've got Mr. Shifu in Dave already nearby. So now an opportunity for them to hold a decent amount of time on this hill. And they're going to invest glide bombs at galore into this one. But tell you what, FDOT, that's a big kill on the hill, and he's now on it. So I'll just sit down and shut up because he manages to make the break.
Yeah, it's a real shame. JMW with the big brain play. He realises his team have got 35-40 seconds on that really difficult P1, and he makes the rotation at 25 seconds. No one else is making their way out, and he's still in hill causing absolute no. It's going to be Zachary who's still in hill, but that just allows, you know, Iniquity Esports to get the spawns. They weren't able to do anything initially with them, but they've got the break because they've got the live ones, and it's been a superb performance. FDOT is not going to be able to take that plate off the hill. He does tag him up, and that's going to let Jacko and Nismo clean up the rest of the hill, and Vitalize do make the break. But unfortunate for Iniquity Esports, the JMW's big brain play didn't play out as planned, and Vitalize just proved again that they can go toe-to-toe. And you would suggest that they are literally trying to outslay to win this game, because right now Iniquity Esports have played this in terms of rotations almost perfectly.
So now Dave not able to win the initial engagement, and Smudge is now on the hill. So although they only need 23 seconds, Iniquity, they've got to be careful with how they try and break this. But Ben, really big gunfight. He's having a hell of a map at the moment. Really controlling certain lanes with this automaton, and he manages to take the man off on that occasion. But Felix is just tucking himself away in the corner. Dave goes for the chow. He will at least take one down with him. But now Iniquity, they're on the hill, and 20 seconds remaining. Somebody's got to go quickly. Smudge is able to grab an initial gunfight and wins that first one onto Zach. But now Jack's still alive on the hill, and a big kill there from JMW. There's still players flooding at him. Nismo is able to make it a little bit messy, though, as they get back on the hill. So back and forth it goes. Ben with one, Dave with the second, and now this is getting dangerous. The boys of Vitalize Black, they need to throw everything at this one. Jacko, that's a big kill, though, just to steady the ship. 17 seconds remain on this hill, and it looks as though Iniquity, they are just going to play for this rotation. 10 seconds remaining, but Jacko wins another engagement on the rotation. He's going around the back. There's still more players nearby. How many can he grab? Slides around the corner. Dave has none of it, but they win the initial engagements potentially. There's still a bit of a pinch coming on as well, and Smudge wins one engagement. So the boys of Vitalize Black, they break through. Oh my god, and they breathe a sigh of relief, and oh my god, Nismo, how has he won that second one? Vitalize Black, I'll tell you what, they're making a bit of a meal out of this hard point, but can Ben be the final nail in the coffin? Shots into Smudge. He needs to try and get the second as well, but oh my goodness, F-Dot's still alive. Can he make the play? One from F-Dot. Dave takes the second, and with 8 seconds left, the clock is ticking. Vitalize Black need to touch the hill. I don't think they're even going to get near it. Pablo and Iniquity with a stellar performance on the hard point, and they take the series 3-1.
What a performance right there, and it just tells you, you know, how much, you know, the understanding of this game that JMW and Ben have got between them. You know, some of the rotations were absolutely immaculate. You know, you look at that push around to Warehouse where they were able to get 20 or so seconds. They owned P1 for large proportions of every rotation. Dave 30 and 26, 21 non-traded kills right there for Ben Wilson. A huge performance out the blocks, and Iniquity Esports, you know, much, you know, that's got to be a confidence builder right there. You know, one of the favorites for potentially going the distance in this was Vitalize Black. F-Dot, everyone talks about, you know, his talent and his opportunity to do really well, but who's there? Iniquity Esports, and time again, JMW, goes to show just what an absolute performer he is and what a player in Call of Duty he is. Huge performance from Iniquity Esports.
Yeah, so the boys of Iniquity Esports, they take it in 4. They drop the first map, which I suppose from our predictions was a bit of a shock, but the boys in Iniquity Esports, they hit the regain button. They take 2, 3, and 4, especially that control was very controlling from them, to be honest. It was a really good map from them, and then they managed to get the job done on both Berlins in the search and the hard point. But GG's all round to both teams, and Jesus, Pablo, we've still got another series after this one, so I mean, we've got a lot of God to come here in this Super League, but what a really good performance regardless from Iniquity, and GG's there also to Vitalize in what is our first series in the Super League.
Yeah, man, we've got a lot of not just COD, but really, really good Call of Duty coming up. And in over the next 5 weeks, it's going to be the best in the EU by a country mile, with some of the best players in and around the EU taking part. And right there, you've just seen some of the highest quality performance from a good mixture of talented players, from young phenoms like Felix to players like JMW, who've got a good deal of experience playing Call of Duty at a really good level. You know, he was T16 last year. He did so close to top 8 last year, and you would expect him to be performing at the same level again. And then with that backup of Ben Wilson, and with Dave finally looking like he's in a settled team, which is what we wanted to see. Dave having a huge performance, being that absolutely crazy trailblazing kind of SMG player. It's going to be wild, Major, and we've got a lot of games like this to get to, and it's going to be super exciting, and probably one of the favorites coming up, you know, to potentially take the title this evening as well. So do stick around for what is shaping up to be an absolutely wild league in the ACCL Super Division.
Yeah, and our next series, guys, is going to be starting very, very shortly. I believe it's should be able to crack on at 8 o'clock at the time that the guys have organised for, and it's going to be Team Toki up against Mistaken Esports. So for anyone who doesn't know, the new Mistaken Esports roster is Crookie, Mr. J, Decimate, Kaze. Is it Kaze or KZ? I think it's KZ. But Higgy as well. Everyone loves a bit of Higgy. And obviously the boys of Toki, they're going to be Toki, Twiz, Zyro, or Zero? I think it's Zyro or Zero. But him and then Isaac as well. So that series is going to be coming up straight after this one, guys. So if you do want to grab a bit of a hydration element and a bit of food as well, feel free to do so, as we will have just the highlights on the screen just scrolling by as we get ready for that next series. But it is due to start in the next 10 minutes. So as of when that comes around, we will obviously be back with that one. But just for the time being, guys, don't go anywhere. We will be back very, very shortly with our next game in the ACCL Super League.
Keep your sound on with your screen off and listen uninterrupted. Try YouTube Premium on us.
Pretend that I'm only your friend, but I do it again. My heart just won't understand. We should come to an end, but I do it again, do it again. Do it again. Do it again, do it again.
searching for the answer to our trials. We came so far through our weakness. We found a love, even the stars between us won't marry us. One day we can be together, and this moment could last forever. I say that you and I have found a piece of heaven, so I pray we can be together one day. So I pray we can be together one
know you drive me crazy, baby. You got me turning to another man. Call you on the phone, no one's home. And if you wasn't for the music, I don't want what I do. Last night the DJ saved my life. Last night the DJ saved my life, yeah. 'Cause I was sitting bored to death, and he just come breath. You said, you gotta get up, you gotta get off, you gotta get down, girl. Last night the DJ saved my life.
Of wild control. So it's really nice for us. We can say this, that we, you know, as much as people are enjoying maybe playing control, but it's definitely a lot of fun to cast over and watch. So Vanguard definitely one for the viewers so far.
Yeah, and I've done it again, Pabs. I didn't unmute our microphones. I am literally the biggest lemon. This is now, I'm going to make it a thing and be like, Pabs, just remind me of this one thing. Every time before we go live, say, oh, we're on mute. Because I've done it twice now in a row. I'm so frustrated with myself for making such a schoolboy error.
That we didn't, that no one has heard the bang thing for like 4 seconds.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah, they won't hear it. Oh, only I would have heard that. Oh, you've been saved. You've been saved. But yeah, guys, what I was saying is we've had one series. We've now got another one ready to go. We're just waiting between the boys of Mistaken Esports and Team Toki to get lobbied up. I believe it is Team Toki who are lobbying up first. And yeah, I mean, we've had an absolute bang up. We've got another one now ready to go. And for the maps on this one, a slightly more mixed one again, Pablo. We don't have any duplicate maps here, which for a while, I can't even recall the last time we've had a series where we don't at least have 2 of the same map. Obviously, that Gavutu now being in control. And we've got a bit of a mixed bag here. We've literally got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, literally, if we were playing even more maps, you might be able to squeeze a Demyanskin, but this is about as mixed as you could get it. I'm probably almost ideal. You maybe might swap the Tuscan for the Bocage, maybe the other way around. The Tuscan hardpoint, a bit more balanced than the Bocage hardpoint, and the Bocage S&D is whatever it is. I mean, if you're going to have Bocage, it's probably not going to be the most balanced variant anyway. But Desert Siege as a second choice is really interesting. It's a really odd pick for S&D. We don't see it all the time at the lower level, but we do see it time and time again at the highest AM level. I would almost like to venture and say that will be a Toki and Co choice, but we know Higgy and that are a very capable team, so it could well be theirs. But yeah, S&D on Desert Siege, definitely looking forward to seeing some sniper action on that. We've seen some absolutely absolutely belters over the last week, and then going into that Gavutu. So this could go any way. And I think Tokyo now going to be a little bit surprised by the pace and aggression coming out of Higgy and the boys. So this could be another really interesting one. And this is exactly what we talked about last year when we were talking with Prezi, saying it'd be great to get to the ACCL, to get into Vanguard and be having the top AM players coming and playing against the guys who've come through the ACCL. And this is where we are right now, Major. This is the culmination of that work.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, the rosters coming up for this one, obviously Team Toki going to have Toki, Zero, Isaac and Twiz. So obviously some very well-known names in that roster. And a roster on the side of Mistaken that personally I'm really excited to see. We've got Crookie, J Decimate, Kays and Higgy. And everyone loves Higgy. I mean, he's such a good man. And I can't wait to see him in this roster, to be honest. Obviously, when we saw the boys, the old Sensei roster break up, I was interested to see where they would all go. And it's good to see Higgy land on a roster with some incredibly talented players on it once again. And it's not really a surprise that he's managed to get his way in here because he's an incredibly good player. We saw him towards the end of Cold War, Pabs, where those boys kind of came out of nowhere, those Sensei lads. And rightfully so, he's on a roster now where he can really prove himself at a really top level, because these boys, I believe they might have got oh no, it's Toki's lot, sorry, they got top 8, wasn't it? But this roster, to be perfectly honest, it would not surprise me if we see them minimum top 16 on multiple 2K tournaments going forwards, because they're a very, very good outfit, this Mistaken Esports roster.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's not enough good words you can say about either team. Toki and Twiz, obviously, in terms of Toki and Co, have flirted with the very highest level over the last, year or 18 months. They've been in and out of different teams, never really been able to settle. It does look like they finally got a little settled roster going forward. And it just looked really good. But yeah, Higgy and that, that Sensei Esports, as an organization, a great breeding ground for good players. Tensei and Yokai, I think it is, who own and run Sensei Esports, always done a good job of being able to bring young talent through and get them access to the very best opportunities. And we see that a lot of times in a lot of orgs. Obviously, Mistaken Identity now doing it. We've seen it with Vitalize most recently, and they've been going for a while. But we see these players having the opportunity to come through, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing the likes of Crookie and the likes of Higgy and how they are able to match up against players that we know can play, exceptionally well. Last year I think I was involved in over a Toki team that was toe to toe with Auglis at a time when Auglis were really just absolutely dominating the entire AM scene. So it's going to be interesting to see again how they match up. We've just seen how the likes of Young Felix and Smudge are able to go toe-to-toe in terms of kills with JMW. That may be just not there in terms of the fundamental understanding of the game itself, in terms of its strategies and mechanics. So yeah, hopefully this is going to be a very similar opportunity for Mistaken Identity.
Yeah, so we're just waiting on one more player from Team Toki to get this one underway, and we're going straight into a map 1 Bocage, Pab. So obviously the series that we previously cast, it was the boys of Vitalize who took that one, which arguably you're probably not going to take as a first pick if on paper you look at the rosters and the ability that the boys on Iniquity have, but they took that one. So it wouldn't surprise me again in this map 1 if, take your pick. And disclaimer, Higgy has told me off the start to spectate him because apparently he is using a special weapon. I won't tell you what it is, but it's going to be quite amusing, I would assume, to see how he gets on with it, because this could be a meta change. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know how long it's going to last for or how well it's going to go for him, but little surprise there thrown in for us in a map that we already know is a bag of surprises.
Man, and the other thing to consider is that right now, mate, are we 3-0 in terms of Bocage's won and teams going on to lose the series right now? I think we might be. I think we've seen it with Team Arise, and we've seen it with we've just seen it with Vitalize Black, and I think so another team took the Bocage. So again, you might be wanting to go into this at 100% and not trying to play kind of like crazy games, because Bocage is an opportunity for you, especially if you're struggling to get one on the board at the very least and give yourself that opportunity. But let's mix it up. Let's see what fun we can have and see how they get on. But yeah, definitely pop over to his point of view and let's see what he can do with this surprise weapon.
Yeah, so this is going to be an interesting one. It's a weapon that I don't think I've ever cast over on this Vanguard game, which obviously the way the meta is at the moment isn't very surprising, considering it is mainly just 2 guns. Obviously the STG's back in now, so we might potentially see that one drop in from time to time. But yeah, this one's going to be a little bit more different from what I'm told, so that's always interesting to see. But yeah, we're just waiting on the the guys to get cracking on the Bokash hardpoint. And as mentioned, yeah, this roster of Mistaken Esports, I'm going to mainly be keeping an eye on them because we know what Team Toki can do, especially in terms of just ability and experience on that roster. So it's kind of come to expected. If you're saying who is a favourite, you're probably going to go with Team Toki, the boys in blue, for this one. But Mistaken Esports, I'll tell you what, they've not really got much to lose in this one. Obviously, Higgy is a new addition to the roster, so they can obviously kind of go at this one and potentially use this map number 1 to have a bit of a feel to see how both teams are kind of matching up on this one. But it's going to be a messy Bokash, I would anticipate, Pabs. But I mean, regardless of how it goes, again, it's another absolute banger on both teams here, with absolutely littered with talent.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to start with that. Oh, man, he's insane. What is that sight? He's the dirtiest man in the game. And Higgy, you know, a player you would expect to just absolutely dominate any gunfight, and predictably gets destroyed right there. And I think he might be changing that gun very, very quickly.
Yep, that didn't take long.
Yeah. But a wild performance straight out the blocks, and you expect this kind of entertainment. We know the lads, you know, especially when we cast over them when they were with Kez and that they're an entertaining group of lads, and they will just play this for as much fun as possible. But already it's looking like the Team Toki really strong in the kill, you know, 0-3-0 already, and we expect them to be really strong in terms of gun skill. But the one thing they're going to be able to do, which maybe Mistaken Esports are going to struggle on, is they're going to have solid strategies, solid commitment to the hills, and again, it should be a very interesting. Decimator doing really well though, kill leader at the minute with 4-2, and he is on a 3-streak major, so who knows, this Bokash could throw up some weird results again.
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me that Higgy's using that kind of gun, to be fair, because if anyone has ever played or spoken to Higgy, you know how much of a vibe he is. And it didn't surprise me at all that with a sight that covered pretty much 90% of his screen, he wasn't able to get a single kill with it and switch almost instantly. But the boys are Mistaken. They don't have the rotation, but you do have the man himself in Higgy working his way round the back. There are going to be a few more players nearby, but Twiz is going to punch through, and they've still got the issue of Higgy out the back. They don't know he's here, and the slow, patient play there from Higgy is going to pay off for Mistaken Esports. So good work early on here as they look to try and soak up the remaining 20 seconds, but they've got the issue of Toki, the man working his way to potentially clean out the last man in Joel off the hill. And yeah, Joel, Decimate, if anyone has watched him, he looks very, very good on this Call of Duty. Not going to lie, he's a player that is obviously, he's been good on Cold War. I mean, I played him in 8s, and he wasn't even talking. He was probably playing with one eye open, and he was still absolutely frying in 8s, and I was going balls to the wall and could barely kill him. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he's very good on this title as well. And they're obviously coming up against an outfit in Team Toki, a very experienced outfit, and they're putting them a little bit to the sword here in the early stages. Pablo, obviously Crookie out the back, looking to try and get a bit of a spawn protection in to try and keep those lads pinned back, but it's really good work by Team Toki, and rightfully so. They've got a decent lead from this hill now.
Yeah, and you've got to consider Team Toki are probably scrimming the absolute top of the cream of the crop of the AMC, and so they're going to be playing at the maximum pace that they're able to, with the best kind of experience, and that's possibly not the case for Mistaken Esports, who may be on the struggle bus in terms of getting that very, very top quality level of scrims. But again, we still expect good things out of them. They've got good gun skills, despite Crookie's windy shots earlier on. He is 11-8, so going toe-to-toe in terms of kills, the kill leader in the game. They need to turn this into time. They have managed to really contest heavily over towards this bottom Grand East, though, and from a position of being almost 40 seconds down, they've brought it back to 20 seconds major. So hopefully the boys from Mistaken Esports can prove us all wrong and maybe just bring this back to a tied up game presently, around and about 21 seconds presently.
Yeah, so over towards Barn, and Mistaken with that scrap time have reduced the lead back down to around 15 seconds. And it looks as though Wiz is just going to be trying to hold this left side of the map. He somehow manages to get away. It looks as though Joel was just shooting him through the tree, but he's not going to be able to get the kill. He will, though, on that occasion, finish off the kill, but he's going to get traded out by the boys in blue as they look to try and push their way in. Crookie's still lurking in and around top barn. He's going to look to try and slide around. Isn't going to be able to stay alive for long enough, though. But how many can Higgy get? There's one for Higgy. There's two for Higgy. Oh, is he going to get the third? Not quite able to on that occasion, but a big couple of kills as the boys of Mistaken Esports look to try and work their way in. But as soon as I say that, we see the ability that Zero's got. He obviously had a couple of question marks over him over that 2K tournament, but he's showing here what he's made of here. 15-9, 3 in a row, and nice kills coming through from Team Toki on the rotation.
Yeah, and just when we're talking about them bringing this game back, they go back to being almost 40 seconds behind as Team Toki just get kill after kill. And a lot of it is just good two pieces by really, really clever players, really fast, aggressive players. And right now they are dominating, you know, not just the slaying, but they are dominating the strategy as well. They're consistently, you know, breaking hill, holding the hill for a good chunk of time. But I mean, if we're talking Bocage here in 40 seconds, 30 seconds as it stands, is not a big number to bring back. You know, you need to have a really, really solid lead to be able to say that you've got your foot in the door. But right now, mate, they are Mistaken Esports doing everything they can on the end of this first rotation on this P5, and they're great reaction shots from Crookie as he is able to take down Zero, who has been on an absolute tear over the last, you know, 2 hills, and that has been a solid hold from Mistaken Esports, who are within 10 seconds of the team in blue.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of teams struggle to hold that hill, but Mistaken, to be fair to them, they really put up some big numbers there on that one in terms of time, and they're now combining for 7 between Jolt, KZ, and Higgy. So really good work there. Once again, Crookie looking for a couple of kills, manages to grab the second as well onto Zero as he looks for the third as well onto Twiz. Really good work. He is going to get traded out by Toki, but really good couple of kills there coming through from him. And Isaac out the back isn't going to have anything more to do with that one as he gets taken down there by Higgy, who is now just... Oh, holy, hold that. I was going to say as he looks for the second, but never mind. Toki rips him clean off of that one. I'm pretty sure he could only see probably the top part of his forehead, but really good work there from Toki. And now towards the P1, getting a little bit scrappy. We can see now Isaac is working his way over to P2, but Joel has absolutely none of it. Decimator, nice kills. Toki, though, looking to try and trade out a few remaining players. Crookie is going to still be lurking, and this is kind of what we've come to expect from P1. Pablo, just kick, bollock, scramble, players all over the place. Lovely couple of kills there from Higgy, and Mistaken, they've still got the rotation.
Man, P1's your opportunity to make your stats look good. It's a crazy, crazy hill. Back and forth, trades go out, but it's all about the rotation and hold for this P2. And right now, Decimator doing an absolutely awesome job of holding that back line. And now it's going to be number 5, Crookie, just getting time, soaking up that. And you can see just starting to try and form out. They are going to get tagged up, though. It's going to be Twiz with the big brain move around the front. And this is going to be another big fight towards Tinny. He's going to get the door closed over just to give himself a little bit of an opportunity, but a great kill by Crookie as he does drop Twiz, and that's going to give the boys the spawns. But number 2, Zero, making his way around. He's been an absolute thorn in the side of Mistaken Esports so far, and again, just a really big kill just at the right time. You know, his stats may not be incredibly spectacular, but those kills have counted. Higgy able to get the kill, but they're not able to turn it into time, and Mistaken Esports have just got a slender lead of 4 seconds now. But mate, this has been back and forth, non-stop action from the outset, and we expect this from Bocage.
Yep.
These teams going toe-to-toe, and major one thing that we were worried about was maybe the lack of experience from the Mistaken Esports boys, but my god, they're going toe-to-toe with these. They are every step of the way.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me at all that this team of 4 is putting the boys of Team Toki through their paces here, as a nice couple of kills come through from Toki once again. And Mistaken Esports still spawning out the back, so can they make the reads? Nice shots from Jolt just to weaken up one player. He's still got another player nearby in Isaac, and he's going to manage to grab a kill there on that occasion. Apologies. 0? No, maybe I'm tripping. It was 0. Apologies. No, nice shots again. There you go. Manages to get the kill on that occasion onto Isaac. And the boys have Mistaken. They are still spawning out the back, but they need to try and push in. Higgy going to be the first man through the door. Going to get taken down. It's getting a little bit messy in terms of trades. And Decimate won't lose that gunfight on that occasion. But Toki at the moment on a tear. 6 in a row from him has sprung to life. And now his team have got a big chunk of time to reflect those kills. So now the rotation over towards the next hill is going to be the all-important one here for the boys of Mistaken, as that lead currently standing at around 40 points and is building with the help of that scrap time. But now, can the boys in blue manage to do what we see so many teams work on Bocage? Can they slip through the lanes? Higgy makes no mistake about that one. A couple more kills coming through from him, and he will get taken down by Isaac. Shots into him. Rookie's still lurking up top here, but they've got the early rotation, Pablo, but you've just got to be cautious here with Team Toki, because the ability that they've got, as Toki has demonstrated there, they can pretty much just punch through any single hill at any given opportunity if they want to.
Yeah, they just always feel like they've got an extra gear to step up, or they're just going to be super accurate, or they're just going to get the kills needed. You know, one stat to really, focus on was that prior to this hill, 3 members of Team Toki were negative, but they were still 40 seconds clear, and we talk about this time and time again. Now, it is one facet of Bokaj that usually doesn't come into play. You know, all kills do tend to count on this hill, but right now, you know, there is just this slender difference in quality between the 2 teams, and that's that Team Toki's kills are counting for more time, despite being kind of outslayed quite heavily. One thing Mistaken Esports haven't been able to do is transfer that into solid time. It has allowed them to stay within, you know, half a hill distance of them, but right now it's going to take a monumental effort as Team Toki just look to apply the little bit of pressure, that little bit of dominance as they look to see out this game at 176 to 47. Higgy with a big job to do. He does drop. It is going to be Twiz, and that's going to be a player just behind him. Very patient play, but both players do drop, and we do see the glide come out from Toki, and it's going to be you know, another close map, and Mistaken Esports Major need to get the majority of the time remaining on this P5 as we head into that 3rd rotation.
Yeah, this has been a hell of a hold, and Crookie has been on a tear himself. So too has Joel. Look at the combined streak now. Currently sat at 9 between the 3 of them, including KZ and Crookie. Another kill, 5 in a row. Glide bomb ready to use as and when he decides to use it. And I'll tell you what, if you want a demonstration onto how to hold this hill, Mistaken Esports have got it wrapped up in a nutshell. Beautiful work there from the boys in red, and a huge amount of time puts them now in the lead. Joel is going to get taken down as the rotation battles begin. Already onto P2. 0 out the back. Struggling by his standards. He's got another man nearby. Crookie shots go through. Isn't going to quite grab the kill, but he does manage to take down Higgy. Crookie going to be there for the trade, and he's having a hell of a map at the moment, Pablo. And the slaying on the side of Mistaken Esports, if they can keep this momentum going and Crookie can keep up to speed like this, you would put a bank on them potentially taking this map.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we do say that this is the one map where maybe the skill level is reduced a little bit because it's so wild, but Crookie dropping a 40 bomb in Bokaj against the team with, like, the quality of Team Toki is a huge performance. They need to turn that into time, though, because right now they're still behind, despite outslaying the team in blue, despite being, you know, heavily positive. They still not able to turn that into time, and this is about experience and about the nous and kind of clever play of Team Toki. They've been able to turn that into solid points, and right now they've got a slender lead, albeit around and about, you know, 15 points. But Team Toki, this is heading into that really awkward set of hills where we go to 2, 3, and 4 that can be continually contested, and they might be able to keep just enough time out of these 3 hills. But Higgy and Crookie just teaming up to do so well. And Major, as we approach, you know, the very awkward P3 with only 50 seconds remaining on this P2, we're going to expect big things coming out of this.
Yeah, this is big now for Higgy, just to try and keep his head down and allow his teammates to do the work around him. But again, nice kill into Barn, looking for the second onto Twiz. He's going to manage to light him up a little bit as he tries to retreat to a new position. With Team Toki spawning out the back, he needs to try and just keep his head down and allow his teammates to help him out, and he will get taken down. But now the red arrows nearby. Crookie still lurking at the moment, 43 and 28. Isaac is going to manage to take him down on that occasion, and John going to try and stay alive on the hill, but KZ needs to try and take down Isaac as well. They can't win off this hill, but every single second is going to be huge now for Mistaken Esports. Zero is going to manage to help his teammate out on that occasion, but now the rotation, this is going to be the key part for Mistaken, because with that 10 seconds of scrap time, it is going to put Team Toki within touching distance of taking this first map. But Joel out the back is just the immovable object. 2 kills coming through from him, and 2 really important ones. Is he going to get the timing onto Isaac, though? In he flies. The boys in Mistaken Identity still holding strong, and Isaac, he does exactly what he needs to. He at least gets one man off the hill, and they can potentially push through. Here's Toki, uses the streaks to perfection. He takes down Crookie and Joel, and now this is getting dangerous. Mistaken Esports need to get in quickly. They're going to have to try and flood this one any second. Casey, can he make the play? There's 1 kill. Oh my god, there's the second as well, to at least keep his team within breathing distance of this one. Isaac is still lurking nearby. They're trying to flood through, but I tell you what, the boys in blue, they need to punch through now, Pablo, because the time is going in favor of Mistaken Esports.
Oh my god, what, 3 seconds left for Team Toki to do it. Crookie's on a 3 streak. They only need 10 seconds to hold out. 1 more big push. This is looking good for Mistaken Identity, Mistaken Esports. Crookie's on a 47. This is insane. They get 1 foot on the...
Oh no!
Blue. Team Toki take it in the end. What an absolute performance. Back and forth game from both teams, and there's only 3 seconds in it, and Bokaj Major delivers 1 more time.
Oh my god, that is standard Bokaj. That is standard Bokaj in any means of it. That was a hell of a map there for both teams. And what a performance there from Team Toki. It looked as though at the end, Pablo, they were going to let that one slip, but they called upon every single ounce of experience, as we know these boys have, and they managed to get it done over the line right at the nick of time.
Mate, it isn't chalked until it's chalked. You will see this time and time again from the very top end teams. They just don't mess around. They play until that game is over, and you just seen a perfect example of it. A point where you felt they were just going to stroll into grannies and take the remaining 20 seconds. They get pushed off by Mistaken. Mistaken hold it to within 3 seconds. And what you see, Team Toki with one more big push, a time when most players might just pack in, throw in the towel. It's done, it's chalked. No, one more foot on the hill. They get a team wipe, and they're able to soak up the remaining handful of seconds. What an absolutely crazy blockage. And, we talk about the players not liking this, but from a viewer's perspective, it's probably the most exciting hill, and it's the most exciting map that we've seen in the Call of Duty for a long, long time.
Yeah, an absolute stellar map there. That is a perfect staple for what the Super League has to offer here in the ACCL, and Team Toki, they come through right when it matters. And now, Pablo, we're going from one extreme to the other. We're going from absolute madness to what is almost like a chessboard in Search and Destroy in Desert Siege. It's a map where the pacing can be incredibly slow. And now the boys of Mistaken Esports, they're going to have to look to this one to tie up the series.
Yeah, and honestly, I expect to see, I don't know whether we're going to see snipers coming out of Mistaken. It wouldn't surprise me if we did, but I do expect to see some snipers on this map. Great for information, great as a suppression, great just to put a bit of doubt in the mind of players, and it makes it really great viewing for everyone involved, and especially for us as casters. It's really nice to see these kind of long-range weapons in play. But again, this is a super tactical, super technical map to be playing S&D on, and you've just got to look to the power and prowess of Team Toki potentially to maybe have the edge. But we just know, just look how close it was. These players in Mistaken Esports are going toe to toe with some of the best in Europe, and that's what we wanted to see. Crookie, man, what a performance out of the young man, dropping nearly 50 in the game. Absolutely, crazy plays. So yep, super excited to see how this Desert Siege pans out.
Yeah, so map 1 done and dusted. We're just waiting on the guys to hit the big red button and get us going for map number 2. And a quick shout out as well for all the new followers. Caps, Trowicki, is that Swag Jack, is that Isan or Insane Cod? Thank you very much. And McCams as well for the follows. Captain Hecko, I think I might have missed that one as well. So thank you very much, guys, for the follows. We are just waiting on map number 2. But yeah, Pablo, I mean, we were wondering what Mistaken Esports might have to offer as a 4. I mean, in terms of kills, you flagged up Crookie. He had a hell of a map, but they did look very clean in some of the rotations, especially those P5s. They held a lot of time over on that hill, which isn't necessarily the easiest thing to do. We see a lot of teams like save streaks, or they manage to work a man through the back, but they did look good in hills where they probably shouldn't have, really, in terms of holding hills that weren't necessarily the easiest to do. But to be fair, the fundamentals were there for that P5 especially. They must have got about close to 100 seconds, I think, off that P5 in all the combined rotations.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, bizarrely enough, that, if you have got players with that little bit of game sense and a really good set of, in terms of gun skill, a really high ability, they're able to hold that bit more time. It's very rare that we see it, especially on kind of hills like P5, like Grannies and like Barn, where they tend to stay reasonably contested. They did really, really well, and obviously we saw them soak up quite a bit of time in the final hill, but just not enough to win the game out. But yeah, we talked about, some players, and when you look at Crookie dropping 43, 44 kills, it's no surprise that they're able to take that time. They were set up really effectively. I think they did chalk the previous hill a couple of times, though, because they wanted to try and catch back up. But other than that, they fought for every bit of scrap time, and it was a really, really good performance. Unfortunate for them, they just couldn't get that final team wiping to push it over the edge. But Toki and that, you can't argue with their quality. It goes to show you really do have to play right to the end. You have to be able to get, because it's not just about getting that foot on the hill. They were able to do that and drop 2-3 players in the process. Really coordinated and a really well thought out play. So, hats off to Team Toki. They've got one on the board, but this is a totally different proposition for Higgy and Crookie. They've got to change that mindset now and look at map control, first bloods, and things like that.
Yeah, and Pabs, you're not going to like me. Well, you're not going to like George because he's asked for a Pablo C.
Again.
Do you want
George?
Come on, man. Do you want a couple of things to get you going and get you in the mood for it?
No, I can do it. Like, why did it go up an octave? Why did it go up an octave?
Like the voice break makes it. And Twiz with the follower. And is it Kjo or Kier? Thank you very much for the follow, buddy. So we are now getting in towards our next map number 2. Just got to wait for that beautiful 30-second countdown as We all know and love it now. I'm pretty sure all the players are like, why have we got a 30-second counter before the game? But anyways, map number 2, and it's a map, Pabs, where we could potentially see a cheeky sniper come out to play, which is something that we always bang on about. It's so good to see it in Call of Duty, and we're kind of praying that that is going to be the case once again here with this one.
Absolutely, we really do look forward to seeing the snipers in S&D. Hopefully, someone's going to pop one out. I mean, outside of it being entertaining, it obviously got a valuable use in terms of its information gathering and suppression. Facebook going to be vital in this though, because we've got 2 very difficult sites to try and get control of, and obviously Team Toki again have going to have played this, and not just played at a high level, but just played more intense kind of S&D than the guys maybe have mistaken. So big moment for them to prove themselves. They're going to need to get one more on the board if they want to get back into the series, because I would suggest control is going to be equally as difficult as hardpoint against this team in blue. And you can just see how cautious it is, a back and forth, and we're just seeing a bit of cat and mouse right now, as no one wants to lose their life early doors.
Yeah, and you can see Higgy knows that one player's there. AC's going to be busy though in bottom mid, and he manages to grab an important kill there. So bomb goes down. They need to try and work something here. Last man up is going to be Isaac. Can he make anything of that? No, he can't. So mistaken identity. This is the confusion. They were mistaken identity. But mistaken esports. Going to take the first round 1-0. And Mr. F. He wants one from me as well. So as we are getting towards round number 2. But a clean first round there for the boys of Mistaken, Pabs. That was a very good opening strat from them. And obviously they make it count.
Yeah, and I mean, you expect them to have good reactions, so they're going to drop the players as soon as they see them, and a really nice strategy, very cautious, not the kind of aggression that we've seen, obviously, in previous hard points and the like. So S&D, going to show they have a plan B and they've got reasonable strategy, but again, it's just whether they can see this right the way through. We expect Team Toki at some point to start to employ these kind of higher-level strategies, able to get shots in, not able to time up, and it's going to be Crookie with an amazing first blood, really great shots over to 0, and that's going to give Mistaken esports that man advantage in a 1v3. Twiz has got the bomb, and he's still got a lot of work to do, Major.
Ooh, I'll tell you what though. Hello, peekaboo. Are we going to see a kill? Nope, never mind. Higgy has come to spoil the party. No snipe kill on that occasion from Toki. And now it's down to Isaac and Twiz. Are they going to check the right corners? Oh, Isaac knows the troll's there. There's a free kill. Manages to take down one. He might get shot in the back though himself. So yeah, it's now all on Twiz. And that bomb going down. Are they going to hear him planting? I assume they do. Twiz now gets the bomb down. Are they going to push him out? This should be a free kill for Crookie. Gets a couple of bullets in. Still chasing him, but manages to finalize the kill. And Mistaken esports looking really clean on the search. KZ now 3 in a row. Higgy 3 in a row. And Crookie helping them combine to an 8 streak. So good opening, attacking, and defensive round there from the boys in red, Pablo. They're looking very clean here in Desert Siege.
Yeah, absolutely flawless almost. You would suggest that Toki's use of the sniper, maybe he's not that experienced or it's not something he gets out very often, but pushing aggressively into open space, probably not the smartest move with a weapon that's obviously incredibly difficult to use close quarters. He eventually gets tagged up, and that just leads to the rest of his team falling like dominoes. So Mistaken esports with an absolutely awesome performance so far, and you're right, an 8 streak already, and you would suggest that if they're able to get a couple of kills in this could be a great lead for them against a team that we thought going into this would probably have a better advantage in S&D than in Hardpoint.
Yeah, and I swear I heard the crack of a sniper. I'm frantically trying to find out who it is. Oh, there you go. Joel is using the sniper. I'm sure Alfie will be bantering him for this. By no means, the Mead always likes to take the piss out of Joel from time to time. But Higgy's going to be the man watching the flank. He's got to be careful not to get shot inside here. He has been spotted. Higgy should be dead to rights now any second. Zero takes down one, going for the flank as well. And Joel is kind of out here in the middle of no man's land. He is potentially going to actually work a bit of a repinch here. He's been spotted though. Zero is going to reposition. Shots into him out the back. Joel is incredibly weak. Can he get the kill? No, he can't. And wow, the boys in blue reply with a really clean round there. Bomb defused. Don't drop a life, and that's how you respond.
Yeah, we expected them to have like at least a plan B. They've played enough times and at a decent level that they would probably have an extra strategy. And you would go as far as to say that this probably would be their map pick. Map pick Desert Siege is not a favourite on S&D for a lot of the AMs. So this is a very good round for them, 2-1. But it's super close. And I mean, there's not really a lot to pick between the two teams right now. Toki probably needs to get a little bit more interaction, but you could argue the same for Joel as well. And both of them using that sniper to little or no effect thus far. Again, no, let's not discount them because we've said this before, and then we've watched players drop to pieces. So right now, super interesting. We see it's going to be Crookie, you know, one of those players on 3-1 that's going to get dropped. And this is it. Oh, it's 2 and 3. Apologies, I read the wrong player. But yeah, absolute performance right now from Team Toki as they just look to dominate and get picks in. Kays does manage to get the shots in. He's going to help Decimate drop that player for his first kill. And at 2-1, it is still tied up 3 versus 3. And with 30 seconds remaining, it is down to the boys from Mistaken Esports to try and get that bomb down.
Yeah, and Decimator gets another kill as well. KZ over towards the back. You can see the nade there, almost landing in the back pocket of one of the Team Toki players in Isaac. But now Toki, really big kill, and they're going to stick with the defuse here. KZ's just going to go on it, and I'll tell you what, if he can keep him alive here, he's just going to check the right time. Is he going to check it? They're going to hit the defuse. Can he keep him alive? Yes, he can, and they're going to grab the defuse in a round that potentially was looking pretty difficult. Really good regain towards the end of the round. Mistaken Identity just opting to get straight on the bomb, getting on the defuse, and Higgy doing a great job to keep his man in KZ alive.
Man, we saw this in the first couple of weeks of the 2Ks with Young Cretins. You know, they literally jump and just defuse immediately. There's no hesitation. There is no trying to play a strategy or jockey or for position. They just get down and defuse. And I think it's a great strategy and really, really applied by Higgy and by Decimator really well there. I think it was Kays actually. And a great example of, you know, if you've got the opportunity, just try and defuse. You don't know whether you're going to catch them off guard. So good performance by Mistaken. And they're just looking super strong. Unfortunately for Kays, who does push, he is going to get dropped by Twiz there, and that's going to be the man advantage to Team Toki. Tagged up immediately, though, as we see Crookie drop 0. So it's going to be 3v3. It's 3-1 at the minute, and there's a minute to play with. And Mistaken still looking super strong. You would not count them out at any point in this game. And with a 3-1 advantage, Team Toki looking a bit more normal than they did in the last round.
Yeah, and Mr. Nismo dropping the follow as well. GG's earlier, buddy. Thank you very much for the follow, and now that is going to be a big kill there for Crookie as he manages to recover the bomb. So now it looks as though Team Toki, however, might have made the read that he's going to try and wrap this. Is Joel? Oh, he spotted Joel on the outer lane. Is he going to manage to take him down here? Higgy's not going to be able to take him down. Isaac manages to grab a really important kill, and they stick the bomb as well. So now it's all on Crookie. 1 versus 2. He's in a really difficult spot here, but nice shots to take down Twiz. And he's made the read onto Isaac as well. This might be perfect. Oh, they're going to go back and forth. The pistol isn't going to be enough, though, on that occasion. And potentially, oh no, and Isaac gives him the no-no as he flew out for a chow there. Potentially, perhaps, that he might not have necessarily needed to have taken, but he came incredibly close to taking that round nonetheless.
I mean, what can you do? He's seen him. It might as well take the shot. He's relying on his gun skills to do the job. Unfortunately, a good bit of positional sense from the team in blue, able to get the shots on him, drop him. But you would suggest he should probably have dipped in that position and played for time. But nonetheless, a good performance from Team Toki. And unfortunate for Mistaken Esports, they just weren't able to see it out. But it's still 3-2, still plenty to play for. And they would suggest that they've still got advantage in terms of the slaying and the gun skill at the minute. But you would worry that if Toki starts to get involved in the game, that things might switch. There might be a bit of a switcheroo in terms of the capabilities of the team in blue.
Yeah, 0. As though he's going to get bombed down, but Higgy, what a spot that is, manages to grab the first blood. Twiz is going to reply with 1 as it gets a little bit messy over towards every single area of the map, and they are falling by the wayside as nice shots from Joel managed to help see out the round. And Mistaken, wow, that was a round that felt like it was over in about 3 seconds. It came out of absolutely nowhere, but Mistaken, they take a 2-round lead now as Casey gets the final kill, and a really good round again from the boys in red.
Man, that is a perfect example of comms and trades. You know, they comms, they get the information, the player dies, and there's a player straight there with the accuracy to get the kill. And we see that, and it played in perfectly to the kind of aggression and speed that Mistaken like to play at. And that's just played into their hands. And they again with the 2-round advantage. You would suggest Team Toki still in with a shout, but great performance from the team in red. And right now, mate, one thing we accused them of, which was maybe a lack of maturity or naivety, they certainly don't seem to be showing that in this S&D.
Yeah, really good rounds coming through from those boys. And oh, well, there you go. There's some good shots. I mean, the trade comes through instantly from Cookie. Oh, dear, I'm hungry. Can you tell? He manages to grab a kill. Does Crookie onto Isaac. And now make it a 3 versus 3. And now Twiz is holding an angle. And where will Mistaken Esports go with the bomb? Looks as though Daisy is toying with the fact they might have an opening over towards A. They've got to be careful, though, because there's players on both sides potentially pinching a 0. Manages to grab a really important kill. It looks as though Crookie is going to try and push out the side, but Toki makes no mistakes about that one. The sniper bullet doesn't miss. It connects straight with the chest of Crookie. And now it's all on Casey, but manages to make it a 1 versus 2. Nobody's going to be there for the trade. And he does have the bomb. So he has a bit of a flexible option here Try and push one way, but he's getting shot in the back. Zero doesn't miss a bullet, and Team Toki take a much-needed round, Pablo, to reduce the lead back down to 1.
Yeah, really nice split from the boys in blue. They're able to get the information they needed on that last player. So probably inevitable that KZ does drop, and unfortunately the Crookie did crumble as Toki able to take his head off with the first snipe of the evening, manages to get involved in the game. And we did say we thought that if Toki was able to get any involvement in any of the rounds, the team Toki would probably take the round involved. Still the lead for Mistaken though, still plenty of opportunity, only 2 away from tying the series up. And right now, you would suggest that they've still got it in their power to do it, especially as Toki has been relatively kind of kept quiet in 6 of the 7 rounds that we've played. So big performance out of the team in red, but I just feel Toki's just getting warmed up.
Oh, he knows that Joel's back there now. Nades and stuns alike are going to go through, but can Toki manage to grab a pick with the sniper? They are going to get the bomb down, and Crookie is nearby. And they keep him alive long enough. Zero's going to get the bomb down. There's the first kill. Crookie gets a second as well with the pistol. Onto Twiz, a gunfight that he probably shouldn't have been winning. And now it's all falling by the wayside. Oh, Isaac has just absolutely violated KZ, but now it's all on Toki. He manages to grab a kill onto Jay Decimator as well. And Higgy mops him up, and it is going to be the boys of Mistaken Esports that go 1 round away from taking map number 2. Toki obviously getting the picks, Pablo, showing what he can do. But fair play to Mr. Crookie. He got 2 really important kills over towards the site and a big swing round in the grander scheme of things.
Yeah, and you've got to really put down the importance of that kill from Crookie. You know, he should had no right to get that with the handgun, able to drop the player, and that is a huge clutch right there. You know, despite it not being the end of the round, it's so vital to them winning that round and one-off tying this game up. And again, we do talk about, you know, Toki not really transitioning to a different weapon, despite the fact that he's 3 and 6. You felt that if maybe he dropped into an AR role or taken a different gun, that they would probably be more successful. Right now, I would suggest he should put it away 5 and 3, but again, they have got the game, you know, that 1-0 advantage, so maybe not as worried going into a control. But right now, you know, it's definitely an opportunity for Mistaken Esports to get back into this series.
Yeah, and Toki going to reposition. There's a man right next to all of these guys. Is Joel going to turn around? Jesus, there are 2 players literally right by him. Not going to pick off either of them, to be fair. It looks as though he is going to reposition for the time being, but now Twiz grabs a really important kill onto KZ. Now 2 versus 3, and Toki, sniper again. Oh, hold that. That's what he can do with it. Team Toki absolutely tear through Mistaken Identity, and the man in question with the sniper, Pablo, he heard the call, and he's just cracked down 2 players in quick succession.
Oh my days, man. How many times have I been made to eat my words with regard to snipers? We said it at the beginning. We constantly say it can be like a super effective weapon in the right hands. And for how many rounds has it been reasonably useless? And then from nowhere, Toki is dropping a 5 and 6 with 6. He's dropping sexy 5 and 6s with the sniper. So a huge performance from Team Toki to bring this almost level. And we could be hitting around 11 if he can hit these shots.
Yeah, and you saw the instant retreat of Mistaken Esports. Oh, but Jay Decimator once again. Joel gets another kill. And now it's going to be down to Twiz to try and make the play. But he gets 2 kills. And a round that just completely folds. Puts Team Toki straight on level terms again. We're going to round 11. Team Toki in a round where I thought it was going to fall apart. With Toki getting taken down straight away. The comms must be on point because they traded everyone out in about 5 seconds flat.
Man, just when Mistaken think they've got Toki on the ropes and he just ducks, dives, comes back and the uppercut straight there for a 5-all. And man, we are heading for a round 11. And this game has been toe to toe. Buckeyes going to the absolute wire. And then we're seeing this round 11 in this heavyweight encounter. And it's been performance in Toki just nearly unstoppable. It is going to be Twiz who does get the kill and 0 drop. So it's going to be a 3v3 as we head towards the middle stage of this round 11, and Toki refuses to put the sniper away, Major.
Yeah.
And it is going to be missed with the bomb planted.
Oh no. If he spots Higgy. Oh goodness, he's on the gun. Higgy, can he get the shots to collide? He can. Higgy doesn't miss a bullet. Manages to take Toki down, but now the glide bomb coming through from Twiz. You can see Higgy, if he gets inside quick enough, is he going to survive it? No flak jacket from Higgy on that occasion, but can they get the kills? KZ is now going to put Isaac as the last man standing. 1 versus 2. 20 seconds left on the clock. He needs to get the defuse as well, but he's been spotted. Joel's getting the shots in. He's cracking him from behind. He's looking for help here. This Joel, because he's tagged him up, and Casey's there to reinforce him. Mistaken Esports, I'll tell you what, they made a bit of a meal out of it, Pabs, but they managed to get it done, and they tie up the series.
We are getting that round 4, man. We could potentially be going all the way with these 2 heavyweight performances. What an absolute performance out of Mistaken Esports. You know, we thought they were going to be on the ropes after that game 1, but they come back strong. Higgy with a 10-7, and we're seeing, you know, an absolute performance out of the boys in red. We were fearful that they were going to get dominated. We were fearful that they were going to be less mature, maybe a little bit more naive than the team in blue. And they go and make us eat our words, you know, over and over again with a consummate performance of composure and discipline in Desert Siege.
Yeah, no, just make sure quickly. I've got the boys on the right sides, but we've tied up the series. Mistaken Esports, they take the search, and they manage to make it work. So 1 apiece, Pabs. We're obviously going into Gavutu control. We're seeing it again for the 2nd time here. And it's one where, I mean, after that search, it wouldn't surprise me if we see round 5 in this one, because these guys have been trading blows time after time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just been non-stop. And performances across the board, so it's not just been left to our kind of like players that we know really well, like Higgy and like Toki and Twiz. It's just been, you know, Crookie has been a consummate performer right the way throughout this series. And we've seen great players across the board, from the likes of Isaac, from the likes of Kays, who got heavily involved. And then you've got to look to your big names like Toki and Higgy. Higgy goes huge in S&D, and Toki makes us eat our words with the sniper. So great performance so far, but this game could go either way. Gavutu control, you would suggest this is going to be a weird one, because obviously it's great if you're the defending team, so advantage to whoever does start on that side, but you just got to suggest that this Gavutu could throw up any kind of scoreline, any kind of, we've seen it in the previous map. It was a 3-0 in a game that previously was very, very close. So hugely looking forward to getting into this Gavutu and seeing us get into that map 4 as well.
Yeah, so map number 3. The guys were just discussing which side is defense. Obviously, going to take the preference to which side is holding the defensive end of things on Gavutu. But we saw a stellar performance in the previous series, Pabs, from Iniquity on the control. We saw kind of the impact the assault rifle players have on this map, especially on the control. So you're probably, again, going to be looking towards those assault rifle players again to really kind of stamp their authority on this one, because the team that doesn't probably going to come out slightly worse off than the other.
I think obviously you've got the importance of the AR control. Obviously everything comes down to, especially with A boat control, but I think that the game's going to be won and lost in terms of B, about the team who can get control of beach but also can dominate towards the back part of the docks, towards jungle, and maybe get those kills. We saw it with Iniquity and JMW and the boys. They managed to get that control time and time again, whether on the attack or the defense, clear the team out and then get that valuable time, because B, unless there's a massive skill disparity, you're not going to take that B in one chunk. It's potentially going to be taken, you know, tick and a half and a tick and a half.
Yeah.
Whereas A, obviously you've got a lot more opportunity to get top bow control and to dominate that middle portion of the map and then get the tick down in one go, whereas B is going to take a number of attempts. This could be really interesting. Obviously we haven't cast over Gavutu control an awful lot, so it'll be interesting to see how different teams approach this, but right now, yeah, it's obviously, you know, super interesting to see the strategies coming out. And it could be anyone's, because, you know, even though they lost the Bakage, Mistaken would drop in huge numbers, and if it goes down to a TDM style almost kind of a gameplay in Gavutu, we know that they can go, you know, round for round with Team Toki.
Yeah, so we are just waiting on one of the guys to just to grab a drink. So nothing separating these two at the moment. I mean, we've got 3 points difference in 2 maps, including Surge and the hard point, so there is nothing really separating these guys. There's just such a fine line between this level of Call of Duty, and understandably we're seeing it again here in the ACCL Super League. And this is just series number 2, Pabs. We've got so many more of these with 21 teams and 3 groups. We're going to have so much action over the next few weeks, and then obviously we start to then narrow it down as we hit playoffs as well after the 3 weeks of group games. So there's so much more action to be had. This is just the start of it, and there's so many more teams to cover as well, which is just the exciting part of it.
Man, you just look at this league overall, you know, from the teams involved, from the very top levels of the amateur scene, right the way down to the guys that we've kind of grown up with in this ACCL kind of group and beyond. Some of these guys making that transition over from the CCL as well. And then you just look at the guys Prezzi's put together. I mean, mate, you've got to look the casting talent. I mean, aside from our wonderful selves,
Well,
there are
one
some
thing I would say is I don't know if Prezi has announced anything.
Oh, hasn't he?
That's what I will say. I'll just cut you off, Pabs. I'll try not, because I thought you were going to drop a bollock potentially in that one, but yeah, I will.
Well,
I will cut you
we're
off
just
just
going
short.
to tease it then. We're just going to tease it then, because there are some heavy hitters potentially coming in. I'm just going to say, keep your eyes peeled then. See, Major looks after me. This is what he does. This is how we work.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it has, but if it
Come on, Prezi,
hasn't,
man.
then dodge that one just. But I mean, yeah, I mean, players and staff alike. I mean, it's going to be busy. It's going to be mixy. There's obviously so many games to cover, but yeah, I mean, you're just asking me to try and fit in Mackems in a cast. I have no idea what that is meant to mean, to be honest. And Prezi, I don't think he's too happy about it.
The guys who support Sunderland.
Oh, okay. I see. I might have one for that, to be fair. I'll try and squeeze that one in. I'm sure I can manage it. But we get ready and we get in towards map number 3, Pabs. And mistaken identity, or mistaken esport. I'm going to keep doing that for a while. I think it's just going to be a habit. But they obviously look to try and get some progress over to A. You can see Toki actually coming on the flank really early on. But they've got to be careful not to gift them this A site very, very quickly, because it looks as though they might be getting quite a bit of progression here. They do manage to get the final kills coming through from Isaac. But really good work there from the boys of Team Toki, just to try and steady the ship for the time being, no pun intended.
I mean, the communication definitely looks like it's just gone out the way a little bit for Mistaken Esports, as Toki trying to get shots over from that far side of the beach. No comms go out and 2 players run past him. He's eventually dealt with, but the boys from Mistaken able to just see out this A point despite that lack of comms. But a really good performance, and they're slaying really, really heavily as well. It's 23 lives to 20, a good life advantage. You know, when you talk about the difference in teams right now, in the way the games have gone, three life advantages is monumental so far, but now they've got 1 minute 49 seconds to deal with this very difficult B point, and we're going to see a big fight go down towards the side of the boat as Twiz does win that, as he drops Higgy and gets to 2 pieces. He drops Decimator as well, so big plays from Team Toki, but this is going to be a really difficult one to breach. And right now, number 8-0 out in the breach, looking to cause problems. 3 arrows pointing at him, and it just goes to show how difficult he is to deal with, as he takes the entire concentration away from Mistaken Esports and drains 20 seconds of time available to them to get that point.
Yeah, so now nice shots from Crookie in top boat. It looks as though it's a standard position here on Gavutu for players to try and get that kind of map control, but nice work from Higgy. Manages to grab another kill. He's looking for one as well, as KZ manages to fly through and drop another player. So this B progression still struggling at the moment, and it looks as though the boys of Team Toki are going to try and at least hold off another wave here, potentially even 2, but they are running out of time now. Mistaken Esports, they're going to have to go quickly here. Nice shots from Higgy is going to take down 1, but the trades come through as Toki at the moment is on an absolute tear. 5 in a row from him, and he's really leading the line here for the boys in blue. And looking for another one onto Crookie. Nice shots again. Just rips his head clean off, and he does get the 6th in a row, but I don't think he manages to get streaks. Oh no, he does. There you go. Full streaks out is Mr. Toki. So in the grander scheme of things, Pabs, those could be some really important kills here on this control.
Yeah, and with 24 seconds remaining, I don't think he's going to have the opportunity to use it. I'd be surprised if they're able to push out. And obviously, they're going to be, happy about the prospect of potentially getting a team wipe with 5 lives remaining. Maybe he's going to need to invest it as early as possible. But I'm sure he's going to be tempted to maybe take the loss on the chin and go into round 2 with that glide, so that they can dominate. He does invest it in the end, as he does look to try and drive that player out with Blackjack. It's going to do the job. And it is going to be the time starting to ebb away. 0, that really awkward player, is going to get taken down by Higgy. That is a headshot and a half. And another one there. And it's going to be Mistaken Esports with the win from nowhere, despite how close the time was to rocking out. And, mate, we are seeing them on a roll right now.
Yeah, Higgy at the end just ripping wigs off with that 2nd kill as well. Really good work there from Higgy, the man who's come into this team, and he's come out swinging here in this map. KZ doing a really good job as well. Toki needs a little bit more from his boys in the early stages of this control, but a round that potentially Team Toki looked as though they might get done is now going to be one that Mistaken are going to manage to take. So once again, in towards the boat, here we go. Over towards that 8 point, and good work there to keep his teammate alive. Pistol on that occasion isn't going to work out for Jolt, as he just shoots halos around that player in Isaac, who does manage to take him down. So Mistaken Esports going to try and position themselves now, maybe catch a couple of players out in transition here. Whether or not they can do it, though, will be a different matter. Crookie Is he going to manage to grab another couple of kills potentially here? Toki is going to tag him up and just reposition his teammates, though struggling to get a little bit of control inside the boat. But nice work again from Higgy. 4 in a row now from him, looking for the 5th. He is going to take down Toki as well. 5 in a row for Higgy, and he's got on for the most audacious chow I've ever seen. But Higgy comes out with beams, rips his head off, and Team Toki got to be careful of lives now, Pabs, because they're running out of time, even in the early stages here. 45 seconds remaining, but they got to try and push something, and they got to push it quickly. With Higgy shooting the way he is at the moment, that is not going to be an easy job.
Yeah, you've got K's on a 10 and 8, you've got Higgy absolutely bodying kids in blue, and then you've got Crookie, really clever play for him to go, you know, as far down the beach as he could, and just cause loads of problems, tie up 2 players to deal with him for an inordinate amount of time, and this is potentially going to be another big moment for Higgy. He is going to need to get that big kill, and he does it again. Mr. Reliable right there, 14 and 7. He's already got 1 streak in the bank, and he's looking to get another streak down, and major mistake at esports. Just look like they're not going to miss a bullet at all. We're seeing MP40 shots across the map. It's been wild right now, and with 25 seconds remaining, we almost called it in the previous round, but Mistaken Esports looking very, very strong at the minute.
Yeah, and Higgy's going to invest the glide bomb in towards boat. It goes, and he mops down 2 from Team Toki as they are falling like flies at the moment. Isaac isn't going to be able to do anything on that one as he will fall. Zero is going to manage to grab a kill there. Toki will too as well, so they will get on that A point, but the life deficit now currently stood at 6. They are running out of opportunities to push this one. We'll see if they can manage to make the play here. Zero going to work his way in towards bottom boat. Can he manage to grab some kills? It's a big moment, but Casey says absolutely not. 2 kills come through for him, and now the kill deficit is just growing by the second. Every single player on the side of Team Toki is now fully committed to going towards this A site, but with 4 seconds left, I don't even know if they're going to get this done. Joel just watching over. He is going to tag up a couple of players with the stun. Zero just tidying out a couple of moments there. Is he toying with death? No, he is going to fall. Is Joel, and they're going to manage to take down a couple of players here, but Casey up top takes down 1. He's still looking for some more progression potentially to come over towards that B point now, as A has been done. But wow, what a moment here for the boys in blue, Pablo. They're down to 3 lives, and I'll tell you what, they've been blown out the water in this round.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Kay's nearly getting his streak. Higgy being very passive in this round. You would suggest the reason that they weren't able to see the boys in blue off in that was because Higgy went into a super passive role, looking over beach, not wanting to lose his streaks. He needs to get these big kills if he's going to, he's invested a lot of time into getting this 5th kill. Right now, he has managed to get it, so potentially he's got that extra glide in his pocket. This could be big as they do go to that more difficult B site, and there's only 20 seconds remaining for this team to do it with Twiz all alone, 14 and 14. He is on a 4 streak, however, so 1 kill going into the next round could be important.
Oh, and they knew it. They flooded him out. They didn't want to give him a single kill there to potentially give him a glide bomb. So Mistaken Esports, what a round again. They are looking really strong here in the control. If you did miss the first 2 maps, guys, Team Toki, they took map 1 on a Bokash, 250 to 247. It was then 6-5 to Mistaken on the search. But this map at the moment, Pablo, fair play to the boys in red. They are looking absolutely stellar at the moment, and Higgy is at the forefront of that. 17 and 7, another 5 streak for him, and he is putting on a textbook performance.
Yeah, tonight, the boys from the top AM learn just what the ACCL has got to offer in terms of player skill and, player intelligence, and straight away Mistaken onto the hill and looking to try and get that really, really difficult. And Twiz, the frustration coming out as he's just trying to penetrate the impenetrable wall that is Mistaken Esports. That's going to be a 2-piece. The kill feed just looks continuously red. Finally, Toki able to take Cookie out, but that's a tick and a half, and we talked about this earlier on, that that B side is about getting that tick and a half down. That's absolutely what they've done. They are going to be drained back to 1 tick, but that is huge right now. And 25 lives to 26, it couldn't be closer. But Team Toki with a lot of work to do. You would expect that maybe if Zero could get into the game a bit more, presently double negative, that it is opportunity for Team Toki to come back. But they are just being outgunned, outplayed, outthought, and outpaced. What a performance from the boys in red.
KZ still hunting for more. Boys are Mistaken Esports. They are putting on a good show here. This attacking round hasn't been as dominant, but when KZ's shooting like that, There is not really much you can do about it. The boys of Team Toki at the moment, they need a regain, and they need it quickly because the kill feed again is just all red. Zero will reply with one with the pistol temporarily to try and break it up, but another kill comes through as Crookie takes down another player in Isaac on that occasion, and Crookie is just tearing heads off with this automaton. He is not missing a bullet. The man has had so many good maps now in this series, and he's looking to try and emulate it once again, and Isaac almost went into the blender as well, but they do manage to grab that A point, Pabs. They do manage to at least secure it, but now they've got to be careful because Toki's on the flank.
Yeah, absolutely. Another good performance from Toki, actually, in terms of the strategy. He manages to get behind. He has finally dealt with, unlike the very first round where they just kind of leave him be, but they've got a lot of ground to cover and not a lot of time to do it in. And it's advantage, you would suggest, Team Toki right now. It's 14 lives, plays 14, but they have got so much ground to cover, and they have got glides in their back pocket, so Kiki probably prepared to use them. 20-11 right now, and they're going to need it if they want to retain control, but you can't just get into that armor. True carrier, you've got to control 2 points in order to see that timeout. And Major, they need 2 ticks to do it. 52 seconds.
Man, the thing is, when they are shooting like this with Higgy, just getting the most outrageous 2 pieces you're likely to see against players of this caliber, it is looking very, very doom and gloom for Team Toki. The only positive they have is that the timer is slowly ticking down, but Isaac on the flank, can he make the play? There's one for Isaac, there's 2 for Isaac, looking for the third onto Joel, and as soon as we say it, Isaac says, shut up, just leave us to it, grabs 3 in quick succession, and a round that was looking like it might go mistaken esports way, Isaac has just shown up to the party and ripped 3 of them down and snatched this one away from them.
Zero with a really important kill. Higgy trying to emulate Toki, trying to get in round the back, and he gets the kill on him with 10 seconds remaining. Look how far pushed up Team Toki are. They've gone right the way through to mid to try and, you know, intercept, get the kills, get the information, and if they do get dropped, they're going to be able to spawn back out and eventually get a round on the board. And Major, you know, after the last 2 games, would you be surprised if this went to a round 5? It wouldn't surprise me at all, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely not. If I was a betting man, I'd probably bet more on the fact that it would probably go to Game 5 the way these guys are going. And a quick shout out to all the new followers, Caprolux, Refrigerator, Jocker, Azza, and Mr. Vision as well with the Prime sub. What a man. Thank you very much, brother. A few of those for the love. Thank you very much, mate. So now, Team Toki, they have hit the regain temporarily, but we saw how good Mistaken were on the defensive side last time, and this man at the moment in Mr. Higgy is an absolute catalyst for it, as again he just cuts through 2 players. Crookie manages to grab 2 as well, and my god, he is just an absolute menace on the map at the moment, is the Higgy. He is not missing bullets, and the boys of Team Toki are just even struggling to push out spawns at the moment as Crookie is going to push up. And when they go through Crookie, they've got to go through Higgy, and another couple of kills to push him out to 7 in a row. What do the boys in blue have to do to get past the wall of automatons that is Higgy and Crookie? They are struggling to even move.
There isn't a strategy. You just got to commit to one side and hope that you can get the players in to do it. Force them out to respawn and then try to gain the ground. But right now they can't do it because not only is Crookie and Higgy going off, but Kaze is on 27 and 21. He's on a 3 streak. You know, this team is absolutely going off. And despite Decimator being 14 and 18, they are still dominating. And again, not 1 tick on any part of zone with 19 seconds remaining. It has taken them the best part of over a minute to even get to a zone and get onto it. And you would still suggest that the Mistaken are just going to launch, you know, bomb after bomb after bomb. This could be a complete blowout in round 4 of this Gavutu control. What a performance between these 4 guys from Mistaken Esports.
Yeah, Toki, he needs to keep his head down here because those players are flooding towards him. Nice work, though, by Toki to take down one. He knows there's another man in Crookie here, but Crookie takes him off the point. And with 10 seconds remaining, it looks as though Zero's only going to be the only man close to it. He manages to grab a kill. This next kill is huge, though. With 4 seconds left, he needs to touch it, but they cut him down again. A Mistaken Esports. What a statement that is in the respawn. That is a dominant performance there. 3-1, and a shout out to those boys. They put Team Toki to the sword.
Man, we talked about how tight these groups were going to be. We were talking about how good the likes of Team Toki were going to be and who's there to make that is a statement game right there. Higgy just letting the rest of the league know I'm here. You're going to have to get through me. I want that £1,000. Team Toki probably thought they were coming into a breeze, probably thought they were coming into something really straightforward. They were going to walk through. No, they get absolutely bodied on Gavutu. They go toe-to-toe in Desert Siege. They managed to just take probably one of the tightest blockages. What can we expect from this Berlin hardpoint major? Because again, man, I don't even know where to plant the flag. I can see us in the round 11 on Tuscan in like 35 minutes time. It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Higgy's shooting like that in map number 4, God help the boys of Team Toki, because he was just ripping them left, right, and center. And that, in the grander scheme of things, when we compare it to the first 2 maps, is a complete outlier. The first 2 maps were so close, and then we just see a map where it looks as though Team Toki haven't really got any reps on it at all. Mistaken Esports, they just didn't miss a single shot on that map, it felt like. And you flagged up Joel kind of struggling a little bit, but the boys around him in Higgy, Crookie, and Decimator, they were just so clean on that map. They just had every single power position, it felt. And when they were in there, Team Toki, we know the ability that roster's got. They just couldn't move them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just from the outset, they got such strong control of both. Like, from the very beginning, it was just red right the way through. They got the ticks over super quick, giving themselves a massive opportunity over towards B. And then when the next round came and Toki's team were on the offensive, they just weren't able to replicate that. It took a huge effort in the end to get that round. It was like final seconds for Toki's team to get that round. So huge, props to the boys in red. It was an absolutely monumental performance. And man, you've got to look. This league is absolutely crazy. I mean, could you ever? Are we really going to be able to call a game at any given point in this? Because it is wild just how good it is. And I'm going to say it now, but this could shake up the AMC in terms of the players that we're used to seeing and the players that maybe that the rest of the scene isn't so familiar with, the likes of Higgy and these guys, maybe not as familiar names across the board. I think the ACCL Super League is going to shake things up tonight.
Yeah,
and going forward.
I'm really happy for Mistaken Esports to have a map like that, and especially for Higgy to have an individual performance like that as well. He's done so well recently. Obviously came in towards the COD scene at the end of Cold War. No one really knew much about him and the roster that he was on for those boys, and now he's in a position where he's taking Team Toki to the blender here, because he's now in a position where if he can dominate this map as well, he's going to do his stock absolute wonders. And Mistaken Esports is at 4 at the moment, to be fair. That map, I mean, you can't discount the contribution that the other players made. As good as Higgy was, the remaining players as well, they all did their bit, and they look like a solid unit on respawns.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at Crookie's performance. If you go back over the stats of that performance, I mean, Crookie, if anyone, has been one of the most consistent performers in the team, a team that has consistently performed as well. So, a great performance across the board. Kays has had his moments. Decimated has had his moments. So, big performances out of all 4 players. Team Toki, man, have got a lot of work to do if they want to catch up. They're going to have to bring their A game, and they're going to have to bring it at the fastest possible pace, because these guys are hungry. They want not only to win this, but they want to make a statement as individual players and as a team. So right now, Team Toki potentially in the blender. They have got a solid 32 seconds off this first hill, but we know this is a wild map and that things can change, on a sixpence at any given point.
Yeah, KZ hunting for more. Is going to take Isaac down. So really good work there from KZ as he tries to work his way round the back, and it's just going to be interesting to see how Mistaken Esports try and approach this one, because KZ is one off of a glide bomb, and he just does it to perfection. Just baits out his teammate. Won't get the 6th in a row. However, he will get that glide bomb. So really good work from the boys in blue in this early stages on this hard point. They've had a difficult map 3, but they're coming back with a bit of a vengeance here in map number 4. And it looks as though Rookie going to fly through. Nolan is going to try and get involved in the action as well, but really good work from Zero. There's 2, and there's 3 from Zero as he cuts down pretty much everyone apart from Joel, who Isaac is able to mop up. And this has been a textbook hold on P2, Pabs, from the boys in blue.
Yeah, really good experience coming through. We've talked about it earlier on. They will probably have had, higher level scrims, a little bit more experience. But one thing right now, the difference maker is Zero, who had an appalling Gavutu by the standards of all the other players. And right now he is absolutely on fire. We've got 8 streak across the board for Team Toki, with Twiz on a 4 and Zero on a 3. And this is solid time. And, when we talk about Berlin, this is not because, if you get 60 seconds behind on Berlin, that is the blender right there. It's a really difficult one to bring back, especially against a team who are going to commit to the next hill correctly, going to leave, they will fight for scrap time, but they will take that 40-45 seconds and then move on. So right now you are seeing textbook top AM performance from this team in blue. And mate, it wouldn't surprise me if they absolutely destroy Mistaken and we end up in a wild round 11 Tuscan. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This has been an outstanding game so far. And look who's on the struggle bus, but none other than our star performer from the Control, Higgy, 3 and 5 right now. Oh my days,
There
eat
you
my
go.
words.
He said, Pablo, shut your face, mate. what a moment
Zip it
there
up,
from
Pablo.
Higgy. That is COD timing in commentary to perfection. Higgy there potentially struggling a little bit, but just rips 2 players out from quick succession and will grant Mistaken Esports a little bit of scrap time. But again, Team Toki, they are pushing players through to the rotation. The man in the team name is going to look to try and push his way round in Toki, and he will manage to get his way round the back. Now, can they manage to make the play? There's still a few more players lurking, one of which is going to be KZ. He's going to fall. Higgy also round the back. Will spot Twiz, so he takes down 1, and Higgy almost manages to get the second, but the rotations now are going to be the bit that you're really going to worry potentially here for Mistaken Esports. If they keep losing rotations and keep giving away the amount of time that they currently are, they're actually going to invest a glide bomb here. KZ looks to try and at least steady the ship for the time being, but Team Toki at the moment, at least for the time being, they've had a really good hold on this hill, Pablo, and with the score deficit currently at 80 points, Mistaken Esports are going to have to pull their finger out a little bit over the next few hills.
Yeah, we talk about it every now and then that they're just going to have to chalk a hill and just try and regain, but their shots don't seem on point, and Zero just seems like a completely different player than the Gafutu Control. He's 10 and 8, he's just been joined by Twiz, who's not only 10 and 8, but he's got a minute and 5 on the hill, so defending stoutly all these hills. Look at that, that's a huge kill from Toki. Pro, he manages to jump and get the kill. Isaac with the handgun, and right now, Team Toki just don't look like they can miss, and this could be a problem for Mistaken Esports, as they are getting put in the blender. And not only that, if they do lose this map, they've got to go in to a Tuscan search and destroy that could potentially be on the back of an absolute slap. They've got to get into this game major as soon as possible, and I would suggest Middle Hill probably not the easiest place to do it. Yeah,
and that was a really big kill there to take down Twiz. He was close to getting streaks on that occasion. He wasn't able to do it on that one. And a quick shout as well to Easy Boy, Maiden, is it Raymond and Rooney for the follows. Thank you very much, guys, for all the new viewers and the returning goes. As always, you guys, the support has been absolutely relentless from you guys, so a big shout out to you. But Team Toki at the moment, 100 points in the clear at the moment, and Toki at the moment leading the charge. Really good work from him, 11 and 6, and I'm not sure what that secondary was. It was a bit of a madness, but he's managing to get it done with the automaton regardless, and a big rotation now for Mistaken Esports to hold this P1. They need a really big chunk of time now from the next potentially 2 hills, I would say, if they're going to be in with a betting chance of taking this map here. It looks as though they will have a couple of kills in the early stages. Nice shots coming through from Casey, and woohoo! I'll tell you what, pick that one. He's managed to take the head of Zero clean off once again, and they've got to be careful because Twiz is on the flank, but Crookie got it on lockdown, and really good kills coming through once more. Yeah, I was going to suggest that it may be a difficult point for them to hold down. They just look a little compact in that hill, and that little tiny bit of compactness has allowed Team Toki to get in around the back. They got that spawn, even though Crookie was able to drop that player, and they've been able to walk through it around 30 seconds, and that is exactly what Mistaken Esports needed to avoid, because it's still around an about 100-second lead. They needed to get a little bit more spread out from that P1, and then, you know, around about 20 seconds, maybe start to push out to get into this P2 position. But they just given Team Toki, you know, 25 seconds that they truly didn't really need to get. And again, Mistaken Esports maybe shown a little bit of naivety against the more experienced side in this, you know, very popular Berlin hardpoint. Casey's just absolutely violated Twiz on that occasion. But it's still the case that Team Toki are looking so good on this hardpoint. They're still leading by 100. It's still going to take a really, really big regain here from Mistaken Esports to get something to work. Isaac, in he flies. Higgy doesn't miss a bullet on that occasion, and they are now starting to soak up quite a considerable amount of time. Casey still lurking in and around those stairs, but now where will they decide to push? It looks as though Crookie's going to be a busy man any second now. Zero's been spotted in transition. He's going to get tagged up as well alongside his teammates, so a lot of bullets coming through. Zero keeps his head down just for long enough, but oh my goodness, Crookie realizes how many players are around him as he tries to dodge and dive around these obstacles on the map. But really good work from Crookie, just watching the lane. They will manage to get through though. Zero is going to manage to get a kill, and Zero just turns onto Crookie, absolutely spins on him, and more kills come through, but this time on the rotation, Pablo, is going to be Mistaken Esports, so it looks as though the call just to rotate early has come back in their favor here, but they're still trailing by 100 points.
Yeah, absolutely. A really good play by Casey. He was able to push out and sneak in around the back, but again, it's possibly too little too late. They're going to need an almost perfect set of holds from this team, and Twiz is going to look to get Higgy out of that really big power position. They have got that support there, number 1-0, but I guess the information being garnered by that glide bomb, and that's going to be another big break as Mistaken Esports just fold with relative ease one more time, and it just shows you how strong Team Toki can be on that initial breach, and a huge amount of work needed, but that kill feed made ominously blue if you're a Mistaken Esports fan, and it's been a consummate performance from Team Toki so far, and a rejuvenated Zero is exactly what they needed. And Isaac on a 20-17, underrated performance right there, 1 minute 31 as well, and this is already looking like a complete blowout if you're a Mistaken Esports player.
Yeah, so he's going to be out the back. Can't win that gunfight though. Zero makes him pay, and Zero, he had a really rough previous map. He's doing well now at 21-16. He had a really good 2K as well that time, but he's really struggling for the time being. Toki though, he now has a glide bomb, and Mistaken Esports are actually going to try and invest one of their own, but it's not going to grab a kill as Joel is able to take down Twiz on that occasion. Zero replies with a kill of his own now, but with 8 seconds left, this needs to be damn near perfect here from the boys in red, and it's going to be so difficult with Team Toki playing as they are. But Decimator, look at that, controlling the left side of that map, and he rips through 3 to put himself 5 in a row, and this regain now is starting off with the help that Joel is able to string together a few kills, but they need so much more of it, and Isaac is going to look to try and collapse potentially on a few more players. Casey nearby though, how many can he grab? There's a few players underneath him. There's one in Toki. They take him down, but oh my goodness, every second now is going to count. Team Toki on the point they go. This is a big moment. They take down one, but it still gets messy, and over towards the next hill, it looks as though the boys of Team Toki are going to look to try and get themselves in towards position. Can they make the play? It's going to be so difficult now for Mistaken Esports to try and command this hill, which is so difficult to hold, Pabs. There's just so many points to push through, and with 8 seconds, it looks inevitable.
Yeah, number 6 there, Toki. Going around the back, he gets the 2 picks he needs, and Twiz in support, dropping Ks, and this is going to be 3 seconds they need, and they're going to win it on probably the most difficult hill to win the game on, in middle hill. And Team Toki just looks so solid throughout the game. They win by 114 seconds, which is a monumental performance in this Berlin, and they're going to bring us to that game 5 that we kind of felt may be inevitable with these 2 teams. But what a performance out of both sides. You know, a dominant performance. We talk about the 2 opening maps were so close, and then we see this dominant performance from Mistaken and Gavutu, and then it gets flipped right back on its head, and in Berlin, Team Toki just look like the absolute, you know, bastions of quality that we expect to see from a team with their experience. And mate, we are going into a Tuscan Search and Destroy, and I would not bet anything that this would go to a round 11, because I guarantee that I would lose money. Everything that we've said today is either being flipped on its head or being nailed on. But Tuscan Search and Destroy is going to be shaping up to be one of the most exciting maps of the evening. We've had 2 outstanding games in this ACCL so far.
Yeah, so Tuscan Search is going to be potentially the difference maker now between these two. Who is going to be able to clutch up in this one? We saw the map too and how close it was before on that Desert Siege, so it wouldn't shock me at all if this goes to round 11. And I'll tell you what, Pablo, regardless of the scoreline of how this one goes, tonight's action in this Super League has been nothing short of superb. Obviously, the quality of player on display is immeasurable from EU that we're able to witness here. And it's also good to see the likes of Higgy and Mistaken Esports come up against a more kind of established couple of names in Team Toki, and really put them to work for this win if they do manage to finally get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about the reason the Prezi wanted this Super League set up the way it was, with the top end of the ACCL that have played in the previous seasons with some of the top AMs, was to create that pipeline so that they got that kind of exposure that they realistically weren't able to get in 2Ks. As like, obviously, you look at the top 8 teams in Europe, they've got those spots nailed down. You know, they've superb quality. They scrim against each other regularly. It's quite a difficult bubble to break, and this was a great opportunity to start to break that bubble a little bit bit and start to bring in new names and new faces. And we're seeing statement performances out of these players. You know, we look at the first game, despite what happened to the guys from Vitalize, you know, F.Dot's still making an amazing, you know, performance, and the guys around him doing the same, and Smudge and the two other players, Nismo. And then in this game, we're seeing, you know, we wanted to see the likes of Crookie and Higgy go big because we know Team Toki can do well, but they have absolutely proven that, and not just that in support with Decimator, also going off in games. It's been a joy to watch so far, man, and hopefully they can keep it up.
Yeah, so the lads are loading into game number 5 for the Tuscan Search and Destroy, and Tuscan, a map that we've seen so many go the wire in this one. It's so obvious that the attacking side, for the better part of things, definitely seems to be the one where teams feel a bit more comfortable, because they can get, as soon as they get the bomb down, it's just so difficult to try and break, regain, and try and get the defuse going. But the boys of Mistaken Esports now, they're going to have to try and call upon everything they've got here. Team Toki, obviously a really good performance in map 4. If you wanted a regain coming through from those boys, they managed to produce it and force the game 5. So again, this is one where you stuck it on me yesterday, Pabs. I'm going to stick it on you today. Plant your flag.
Tuscan S&D, man. Oh, this is a tricky one. It's not a huge map like Desert Siege, so I'm not sure entirely. But Mistaken Esports have just been so reactive. But I think the experience of Team Toki might push them through. This is going to come down to the performance from the man on the screen right now, though. Can Zero get into this game? First blood goes the way of Mistaken Esports, so I don't know. I'm going to go with Team Toki and just see how these guys get on.
So first blood, there you go. Hazy able to grab a second onto Zero as well. So now 2 versus 4. Isaac and Toki trying to make the play, and Isaac just about manages to slip away. Toki has managed to push up this left-hand side. Or because he spotted him. He spotted him. Is he going to push him out? We'll tell you what, hold that. What shots those were! And Toki, with 2 out of nowhere, is going to now make it a 1 versus 2. His teammate in Isaac is going to drop. And with 40 seconds left, this is now doable for Toki. He's got a lot of work to do. And he's got to try and hunt down these players up against Crookie and Higgy. Can he spot one of them? Oh my goodness, I think he spotted Higgy. Is this possible? Shots come through. Isn't going to collect any heads on that occasion, but Higgy's got to be careful here. He's dancing with death. He's got 20 seconds left, Pablo, but man, he's made a meal out of it. He's managed to put Mistaken Esports in a position where they're getting a little bit nervous here, but I think the clock might just get the better of him.
Yeah, I think Higgy just playing and dancing a little bit to waste time. He's baited them a couple of times, wasting about 12 or 13 seconds. I think he's going to get pushed, and just not enough. Too many people to try and shoot at the same time. That was really textbook play by Mistaken Esports. And again, we talk about this thing earlier on where maybe we felt that the maturity and naivety in terms of, you know, the experience of at this level might just be too much for the boys from Mistaken Esports, but they just make us eat our words time and time again. And that's indeed, they just look really solid. And despite the heroics of Toki, Mistaken Esports go 1 round to the good. And who's there at the top but the Crookie monster himself on a 3-0 and 2 off a streak?
Yeah, really good opening round from Mr. Crookie. Can he manage to get anything else going? You can see the stack now. The whole platoon is going through B. It looks as though Zero has got a sixth sense of it. And oh my goodness, that's a nade. He's not going to watch back at all. Oh no, he's had an absolute mare. It just rebounds off the wall and slaps himself in the chin. So now it's going to be a 2 versus 3 still, as Toki and Isaac managed to get a couple of kills. Crookie got to be careful though, because he is only 2 away from streaks here. So probably better off in baiting Jolt if he can to do so. Now bomb is down on that site. Toki not opting to move. Or Crookie, did he get the information? I think he did. Isaac's going to run straight into him. Then big shots come through from Isaac to grab the kill. So now it's Joel. Takes down 1 versus 1 against Isaac here. And in a game that is just separated by the smallest of margins, who is going to come out on top of this one? Joel Chow's around the corner, and can he win the gunfight? No, he's not able to win it. And Team Toki with a really big round to tie it back up, Pabs.
Man, what a drop shot at the end, and that's what it comes down to. Fine margins, 2 ARs in that CQB position, and what happens is the drop shot wins in the end. It's old school, but it works and it's effective, and that gets them back on the board. And a really good performance from the boys in blue, despite Twiz and Zero being 0-2 and 0-2. But great performance from Isaac and Toki. And again, I'd just like to say, you know, Isaac's just had such an underrated performance right the way through this game. He's been reasonably consistent, and when he has gone off, he's gone big, and that's brought them level in this game. And major, we said it before, but we could be going right the way to the wire. Final round to see who gets the knockout punch.
Yeah, Zero in middle, able to take down 1 before KZ is going to get the trade, but now that all-important bomb is going down over towards the A site, so now they're going to need to try and work their way over towards the bomb and potentially the other side of the map. We see obviously the likes of Isaac currently sat up in top mid and Casey Chow's out mid, but Twiz just watching over him, manages to grab one. They need the next kill here, and Twiz with 2. The position is absolutely perfect from him, and a really clean round so far from Team Toki. Leaves Joel last man up. Oh, he does spot one man in Isaac up top. Can he manage to grab the kill? He manages to take down Twiz for 1, but with 16 seconds left on the clock, there's not much time to do this. He really needs to go quickly. He's still frantically hunting for at least one of the players. He will spot Toki in you, but he's not going to grab the diffuser regardless. And Joel Decimate, as much as he tries, will make it a 1 versus 1. But for all his efforts, it's not going to come through to anything. And Team Toki, 2 rounds in a row, they now lead.
Yeah, and a weird performance. Twiz just going to heady the bomb, which is really clever play, but again mistaken. You know, just when you expect them to play with a bit of maturity and not be like completely wild. 2 players push out without tradable moves into middle and get cut down. Again, a really weird move from them, but they get punished for it, and that's what happens at this level. You cannot make a mistake because a top AM team will punish you for it. And right now they are 2-1 in the lead, and you would suspect a mistake in esports. Really can't put a foot wrong from this point onwards, or you could see them losing the game. Isaac, with the information, he knows that bomb's going to be down. He's going to try and get some ordnance over. It's going to force that player off the bomb, and it's going to be a big moment. Higgy with a really... No, it's Kays who gets the kill on Twiz. Oh, my days. The TK goes down from Isaac, and it's going to be a 4v2 right now, and Isaac last alive, where you would suggest the impossible mission to do a 1v4 on this reasonably sized map.
Yeah, so now Isaac just needs to try and get a pick here. He needs to play this smart. The 1v4, if you're a betting man, he's probably not going to do it. And he just needs to try and work a pick here to grab the glide bomb. So big moments in this series. If he manages to get it, this will be a big moment here for Team Toki. Still just hunting around for any potential stragglers. He's got to be careful, though, because there's actually 3 players around this backside, and they're looking as though they're going to try and hunt him down here. They've got to be careful not to gift him one. Have they spotted him? Oh, well, there you go. Crookie did, and he rips his skull clean off their mistaken identity. Mistaken esports, apologies. They take round number 4, tie it back up, and all importantly, Pabs, no streaks for Isaac.
Well, no identity crisis for the mistaken esports boys there, as they managed to tie things up 2-2, and Crookie absolutely lasering at the back of the map. Huge performance from him so far, and 4-2 and absolutely dominating with Decimator, but they just cannot turn that into round advantage right now. All square, all tied up, 2-2 in games, 2-2 in the series, and it's anyone's game right now. And you would suspect, who needs to step up. You would think if Zero starts to play well, this could be advantage to Team Toki. But again, across the board for Mistaken Esports, Higgy having a relatively quiet game. And if you feel if he starts to get to grips with this game in any way, this could be Mistaken Esports and a win on the board. But Major, I mean, I'm going to put you on the spot. From here, where would you call it?
Oh, mate, flip a coin. Flip a coin. There is nothing separating these two, and I called it before. I think it's going round 11, to be honest, the way these two are playing. Crookie. Oh, whoa, there you go. Nice shots from Isaac. Manages to take him down, and in the back, though, Zero. There's another one as well, and the boys in red falling by the wayside a little bit now. This next kill is huge. Higgy, he's been spotted. He's going to do well to get away with his life here. He's got a teammate in Joel, just watching over the top of him, but he'll do well to stay alive, and the timing might get the better of Joel. He's going to fall. Higgy is going to get traded out, and Team Toki take the lead once more.
Very, very aggressive play from Team Toki to get in around the left-hand side and get right behind the boys and get really big kills. And Toki right at the end with the handgun, very confident kill, and that's going to put them into the lead 3-2. And you would suspect now is the time they got to look to Higgy to start to set up. He's 3-3 right now, and really, a player who usually does dominate the map not on the struggle bus, but maybe not having the impact and kind of that talismanic figure that you expect to see for this team. And right now it's advantage Team Toki, and they're playing really, really well. And Toki feeling himself. He's got the sniper out, Major, and I hope you're ready to cast over some tasty World Star performances from Toki right now.
Begging Toki puts on one of his textbook snipes here, because Joel is just lurking round the corner. That X-ray vision is just like a magnet. You're just begging that one of them potentially strafes into the sights of Toki here. He's not budging. Oh, and he just whizzes the bullet past Joel's head. He's not going to get the kill, and Casey's going to get the first blood as well. So where is the next kill going to lie? Casey going to grab a second as well. Really big round from him. And now it's just going to leave Toki and Isaac, the last two up. They're still hunting for the pick. Oh, wow, but he spots the head of Decimate and doesn't make a mistake on that one as he manages to tie it up 2 apiece. And KZ really going to get the bomb down very shortly. Him and Crookie, they're playing so close to each other. Now the bomb will go down, potentially. So they might be baiting it out here. They're going to just reposition the bomb plant to make it a little bit more difficult for the boys of Team Toki. And now, where is this next pick going to lie? Is Toki going to manage to work some wonders with the sniper once again? His teammate out the back he goes. He can't zoom down sights quick enough on that occasion. And KZ with the ace in that round when they need him most comes through and fries them all.
Absolute work from Kays, and that's just when you need a player to step up, when your star players are having a terrible game. Not a terrible game, but not a great game. And Casey is there with the ace. He goes absolutely huge, and that's the kind of confidence booster, that game regain that you desperately need. Kays on a 7-4 right now, the kill leader in the game, and it's 3-all, and there's no air between. You cannot put paper between these two sides. What do they need to do to get into the leads? Again, Zero and Higgy, your two big players that you need to step up, potentially need to go off. And I would suggest, if one of those does start to pick up, Crookie going off as well, that this game could still be anyone's. But right now, it is going to be 3v3. It's 3-all in the series, 2-all in the series, and 3-all in rounds and major. This is crazy game so far.
Zero in the back. Crookie's going to be none the wiser to this. All the way out. Manages to get a really big kill onto Crookie, and Hazy now in a situation where he really needs to get this 5th kill. Bomb is going down. They're going to check it at the right time. Down through the window he goes. Going to try and reposition as well. And Decimate gets the pick as well. So now 2 versus 2. And Casey's looking for the 5th. And he gets it as well. So he now gets the glide bomb. What a big moment that could be in this game 5. If this goes the distance, that glide bomb could be huge, but 24 seconds left on the clock. Toki, can he manage the clutch up here? Has he got eyes on the bomb? He does. But Casey comes round the back. He gets another kill, 6 in a row, fully streaked out. And when you need a talisman, Casey comes through. Pablo puts the boys in the backpack, 9-4, and his team edge ever closer to the lead now.
Man, they are 4-3 up from a position where the only time they've been in the lead is that from that first round, and ever since then they just feel on the back foot. And who steps up but Casey, that player who's had that kind of underrated, understated performance throughout the whole series. And now this round, he makes this S&D his. It's still super close. There's still plenty of time to go, but he is 9-4 and on a 6 streak. And you would suggest, with those that kind of streaks in his back pocket, that this could be a problem for Team Toki, because they really need to be aware now that they could potentially be on the shoulders. Oh my days, Cookie. Days, Decimator and Cookie team up to absolutely body, and Zero, that player who is presently struggling 4 and 6, last alive in a 1v3 in a round they really can't afford to lose.
Yeah, if he needs a time to come to life, Zero has got to do it now. 1 versus 3. Casey, one of those players, still alive. Can he work some magic here? Zero checking all the respective corners. Is he going to check the right one onto Higgy? There's one. So he makes it a 1 versus 2. Can he manage to do this quickly enough? Going to fake a bomb defuse as well. I'll tell you what, he's moving like a madman, but he's not going to get the kill. It's another round for Mistaken Esports, and it puts them right on the precipice of taking this series. It's going right down to the wire, but Team Toki now, they cannot drop any more rounds, Pablo. They need a perfect search from here on out.
Yeah, and with the potential for the glide bomb being in the back pocket of Kays, they're going to need to be super aggressive, because they're going to need to take him out of the game as early as possible. If they play overcautious, he's going to be able to use it, get that information, and that is going to be potentially a game-winning move for Mistaken Esports. So I expect to see a strong, aggressive performance from the team in blue. I'm fearful if they don't, this could be a defeat on the cards for them, and what a performance right there. And just when you need the player to step up, Kays is there on a 9-4 and a 6 streak, 9 streak between all of the boys in red.
And Toki with the aggression. There you go. There's another man to come through right when you need him to. The aggression that he showed there, just to push through, completely caught off Mistaken Esports, and now it's down to the 2 currently on a streak. Casey's streak will then fall and end, and now it's all on Crookie. He's a 1 versus 4 here, and they're not even going to drop a life there. Team Toki slap back with a very big round, Pablo, and an important one as well. They don't drop any lives. They won't manage to get any more streaks as well on the other man. Obviously, we saw Casey got the streaks, but they had another man. I think it might have been Crookie on a 3 streak. He's not going to get them, so a big round and potentially a big moment here in this series once again.
Yeah, invest in the glide bomb at that point was probably not the best move. They it's wasteful. It doesn't hit its target, and at a time when you were heavily, in a disadvantage, it probably wouldn't have made a huge amount of difference. Again, no, they're going to have to play this the conventional way, and they're going to need to get the first blood. This is going to be a huge round for Mistaken Esports. They should have some information all right. This could be a big moment. He's got it to one. Can he get the two? He is going to get traded out. Toki with a huge play on Higgy, and it is going to be a 3v2, so advantage. No, that's being taken away as Twiz drops, and it's going to be a 2v2, and potentially what could shape up to be the final round if you're a Mistaken Esports fan, or it could be tying up the series for that round 11 if you are indeed on Team Toki.
Oh my goodness. Nerves of steel going to be required now. KZ and Joel going to be taking that bomb potentially over towards the B site. You can see Team Toki clearing out the A site. They don't spot anything. They might have pulled this to perfection here. You've got to be careful, Mistaken, because they are currently split up. The duo in KZ and Decimator. The Toki that in this corner. I'll tell you what. KZ takes this bomb round here.
Going to A.
Oh, man.
He's going to A.
Going
He's
to A.
proper duped them.
They duped them
They
out.
got number 7, got the information. Decimator saw the cross across Broken. And they've duped them. They've completely duped them, Major.
Bomb goes down. 2 versus 2. Who's got the minerals? You can see number 3, Twiz, challenging the corner. Casey can't win that one. Twiz makes a really important kill. So now, Joel, can he go huge here? The bomb planted, not in the best position for him, really. And Toki's on the defuse. Joel's got to check this, and he's got to check it quickly. He can't see the man on the bomb. They're getting the defuse down. He's got no idea about this, and they're going to get the defuse. They planted it in a position where they can't even watch it. And Team Toki, they push it to the round 11.
Man, we called it, and that is a craziness right there. That is about, we talk about that maybe that lack of experience, or maybe, that fine margins and details that separate teams. But Major, we are exactly where we said we are to be. An incredible round 11 in what has been an incredible performance and a great showcase of Call of Duty in the ACCL Super League.
Oh my goodness. Nerves of steel here, potentially from Team Toki to clutch this one up. It's going to be a B push, and nobody from Mistaken Esports is even going to be here. If they plant this quick, this could be a really difficult round. Bomb is going down. Streaks are coming out. They're not going to land anything here. So now 40 seconds on the clock is going to be what potentially separates these two. It's come down to the final map, to the final round. But who is going to come out on top? Twiz might have the first engagement potentially. You can see those arrows pushing round the back. Who gets the first blood? Twiz, they know he's here. He's going to try and finesse his way around here, and he might manage to make the play. He takes down one in the back. Toki takes down one as well. They're all falling by the wayside, and oh my god, it's now all on Decimate. He's going to fall, and the boys in blue, Team Toki, they take it in the round 11, and that is experience for you, Pablo. These boys, you do not count them out.
Man, you talk about a plan B and then a plan C. They get super aggressive over to B. They get bomb down, control the map, control the time, control the bomb site, and there's nothing that Mistaken Esports can do, even when they've got that little bit of information as they push around the back, and that is a superb performance in what has been an absolutely incredible game. 3-2 in the end, man. They could not have gone further to the wire. And, we look at these crazy games, 250 to 247, 6-5 in both S&Ds. Then we have these two complete outliers, 3-1 in the Gavutu, and then that crazy hard point over on Berlin. Major, that has been what an evening of Call of Duty we've seen so far.
Oh my goodness, man. Take a breath. That was absolutely incredible, that series. You cannot count either of those teams out. It goes all the way to the Game 5, and Team Toki, they clutch up right when it matters. 2 round 11s in that series, and Map 4 and Map 5, sorry, Map 3 and Map 4, probably the biggest outliers of the lot, but I tell you what a series nonetheless between those teams. It is going to be Team Toki that come out on top. And if you guys did miss any of that and you are just jumping on board, you've missed an absolute stonker of a series between these two. The replays are now live on your screen for you guys to watch that one. But GG's there to both teams. Pablo, I mean, congratulations there to Team Toki to manage to get it over the line. But you got to give some congratulations as well to Mistaken Esports to push these lads to the wire. They're probably kicking themselves in that one. They had moments where they could see it out, and unfortunately, they just weren't able to on this occasion.
I mean, it's going to be a great learning experience for them. They've obviously got to go back and have a little think about how they played Berlin S&D, but really, they have absolutely pushed one of the top teams, a team that got into the Sunday in the last 2K, and they very capable team, but again, just a little bit of learning needed across a few maps, and they're potentially going to be able to push on to that T16, T8 kind of level, but huge performance from Team Toki, despite the fact that the game's probably gone the way in terms of results, the way we would have expected. The performance has definitely not gone the way we have expected. Huge performances out of our rookies, and again though, big brain plays, really good performances out of our more experienced players, and Toki just that kind of big in-game leader. He's a great leader and a great player as well. Superb play, but Zero in the end doing well despite having a kind of mid-series problem. But mate, I mean, there's too many superlatives to go through. That game was wild at times, really difficult to keep up with, and it had just so much going on, and a highlight reel after highlight reel across all those maps.
Oh mate, what a series that was. And that is the first day in the Super League in the ACCL. We've got plenty more of it to come. 5 weeks of it, to be precise. And what a series, what a set of series that was tonight. And oh my goodness, cherry on top there for it to go round 11. GG's there to every single team that's taken part this evening. If you did miss the previous series, guys, between the boys of Vitalize Black and Iniquity Esports, that was another banger of a series as well, so feel free to rewind it or head over to my YouTube. I upload all the VODs up there as well, so if you do want to head over there and drop us a sub, that'd be greatly appreciated. You can grab all your VODs and all your clips off of that. But that is going to be it from myself and Pablo this evening. We are going to give Mr. Treecod a raid. He's obviously back and streaming once again. A huge shout out though to everyone who's tuned into the stream. It's been an absolutely mental one in terms of numbers, support, and everyone in the chat being interactive as always. And obviously got to say a big thank you to my partner in crime, Mr. Pablo, as well. But that is going to be it from us this evening. We're back tomorrow though, guys, don't worry. We've got plenty more ACCL action underway this week, so feel free to drop a follow if you haven't done already. We'll be casting plenty more of these absolute bangers, and we'll be back very, very shortly. Thanks again, guys, and we will catch you on the next stream.